Yeah. Yeah.
Sup, guys? It's Corrupted.
And it's dragging.
Back.
We are back.
Sorry about last week. I was sick, so that's why we didn't have one last week.
COVID.
It wasn't COVID. I just had a migraine, and me and migraines don't work very well. But
Good. Back at y'all again with another episode, man. Quite
yeah,
frankly, one of
this is
the last episode of the One Piece
for a
guide
while.
into the Overwatch
For what?
for a little bit, for a good little
20,
bit. We'll be back
29
with it from
weeks?
here.
For the next 29
You ain't gotta
weeks.
count it.
I
You ain't
think,
gotta count it.
because I think
We'll
we're
be
four
back.
weeks away from the next episode of One Piece, and then 29 episodes after that. I think, or 25 episodes after that. So so we're at the last like 3 episodes of Wano, and then the start of Egghead, because we gotta make up for lost time with last week. Sorry, excuse me. I did not mean to yawn, but yeah, we see some interesting things in these last couple of chapters. And I'm not just talking about Byron Gun being fucking massive. I'm talking about like basically the reconstruction of Wano and everything, and like how Momo finally got his shit together. But to be fair, like he's 8, he's allowed not to have his shit together. So it's crazy that he actually got his shit together. You know what I mean?
But he's the
Like,
personification of a lot of things that we talk about in the show so far. When it comes down to like how he himself just kind of like has had to follow a path that he himself first didn't want, but he's now made it kind of his own thing. Like he ate a fruit that out of being hunger that gave him a power that at first he couldn't control and he couldn't handle. So like he could have easily like given up at any point in time, or he easily could have chosen to, considering how Kaido operated and stuff. He easily could have chose any side that he choose to fit, but he chose to follow in the path of being the shogun, even though it was a seat that was pretty much too big for him to fill. And you see him have to like pretty much be thrown into a world and having to learn it and having to adapt to it in like real time. Because it's crazy when you think about how he goes from a 20-year deficit to like a 20-year like acceleration. So like he was barely getting used to being in the world that he had left for 20 years. Now he's after getting used to being 20 in the world he left for 20 years. 28 in the world he left for 20 years.
yeah, and what's crazy is like he'll probably like based on just like what we seen how old we seen people get, he'll probably only be like 58 at the oldest mentally at any given time. You know what I mean? Like realistically, like that's how much Kaido stole from him. Like he didn't just steal like the usual stuff. You know what I mean? He
Yeah, that's
doesn't.
correct.
It's not just the normal amount, but he stole so much from a kid. This kid, just for the kid to be like, "It's cool. I can figure out how you did that, big dog," and then does it back, which is kind of funny to me. They
No,
just
that's
like,
you're right. Because when you think about everything that Kaido went through, which is what we talked, we've been really critical about Kaido and the channel so far. And you
and I will
know,
continue to be.
he should have really like Momonosuke's probably the one he probably should have killed because of where he had him and how everything went. You know, he had the dude dangling over there to the balcony. The only reason he didn't throw him off was because he didn't say his name. And like, and then just to have him turn around, eat a fruit because he was hungry, that turned him in so happened to be a fruit modeled after you, and turns into a dragon like you and fights you with the lunatic that's trying to overthrow you and your regime.
Yeah, when you think about it, Luffy is kind of a fucking lunatic.
You already
Like
know it.
I can't think of a more correct way to say it. And that's just what he is.
But nah, like Momonosuke and just like having to learn the world that he was in, even in this world of turmoil, and the person that he had as a he chooses to follow is Luffy, who gives him these different not different, but yeah, no, I'm saying the right thing. He gives him these different guidelines from the world that he's now like used to, and he's like trying to overthrow. And we've talked plenty times of how like Luffy doesn't force his followers to follow him. He follows them because they want to. And that's definitely what it was because like and it was personified in the ending part when Luffy and them were about to leave. Because you think about I just love the consistency when you think about how Luffy never really leaves without his giving his allies a chance, at least a chance to get there because it's deeper than just him waiting on them, which is commendable on his own, but he gives them a chance to show up, like he did in Punk Hazard when he wouldn't leave, wouldn't let the whole thing go until that door closed and his allies truly didn't show up, but they did show up. Then it was the same thing here, but it was almost like he knew Momo was going to show up because he knew that he was a follower of him and he wasn't going to leave without saying goodbye. But at the same time, he gave him a chance to show up or not. And you think about what if he didn't come, Luffy would have still left. Probably would still had the same mentality, like still left the flag there, with a note or whatever. But he still would have left. But it still would have been no hard feelings. But at the same time, he gave him a chance to show up, to show him everything and tell him his goodbyes and farewells the way he wanted to, and he did. And it was one of those things where, Luffy didn't leave him hanging. He left him with something to keep him spirited, keep his spirits up. As soon as he told him he was a straw hat, it's like, okay, well shit, you good then. You good. But Momonosuke, man, that's he's an amazingly written character, just concept, unique wise and everything. Like he's got some real layers to him. And he's one of the characters that kind of made Wano like kind of Wano in a way. If you really like look at it and really break it down, it's like Momonosuke is kind of the whole reason Wano even happened for the most part, besides Kaido for real. But I think a lot still happens, but I don't think it goes as deep without Momonosuke. That makes sense.
Also, one thing that is super interesting
What's
about
up? What's up?
like the entire idea of what happens in Wano is we see what a bunch of the paper lanterns say, right? And they're all
Right, right.
different iterations of free us from this hell. Some of them are just like I would like water, clean water again, all this stuff. And it's
Hmm.
kind of ironic that they're all asking from salvation from hell, considering that
Pretty much.
Wano is where Pluton is hidden.
Right, right. That's a
Because
deep one.
it's named after the god of the underworld.
And it's like it's almost like because those messages in lanterns flowing upward with Luffy standing right there is almost like prayers to heaven. I always
But
felt
it's
like
not just,
that.
it's also
So
like prayers to heaven, and it's also like a little piece of the people escaping the underworld.
yeah,
Like little
that's the
pieces,
other side of it.
which is interesting, in my opinion. Like it's kind of cool.
Because they've symbolized underworld, excuse me, they've had underworld symbolization throughout Wano, like heavily. Because even with Kaido and Big Mom, like how they kind of, what's the word I'm trying to say? How both of them go from a height standpoint, especially Kaido, but in Big Mom's case, and it was beautifully done too. In Big Mom's case, how she was knocked down, but in her knockdown, first she was knocked down twice, which I thought that was versus Kaido's once, but Kaido jumped himself and then got forced down. So before Wano ever happened, we get introduced to Kaido with him jumping off the Sky Island himself, which is a high, that was pretty high peak, probably higher, highest peak he dropped from, which symbolizes that fall symbolizes his height as in his position as an emperor falling to its knees because at that point, that's when he employed Hawkins and captured Kid, and he had what's his name, Apu, as a sleeper agent. So then you fast forward to when you get to Wano, and then Big Mom. Not only she gets knocked off once, but then gets saved. Then she gets knocked off again, but holds on, and then has to get the extra push. And for me, in Big Mom, that shows how she just was always hanging on by a thread. You know what I'm saying? Like it's really
Mm-hmm.
her own folly and her own strength that's always been the compromising factor between her being a good emperor and a great emperor. So, it's almost like her getting that extra push is almost like at the last moment she finally decided to be serious about it and it was too late. And in Kaido's case, we already talked about Kaido and him falling with the suicide thing, him pushing himself down. It was almost like, and then Luffy, of course, at the end, punching him from the height that was higher than Onigashima into the sky, which it wasn't as high as the Sky Island peak, but it was close. Which it was a lot of things that symbolizes with that because Luffy, how Luffy got ahead of him right before Bajran Gun. When he gets ahead of him before Bajran Gun, it symbolizes like Luffy as a pirate and him excelling higher than Kaido, and Kaido finally getting upset about it. And now Luffy telling him that no, the way you've been doing this is wrong, and I'm here to show you that it's wrong. So I'm higher than you. Get down. And he
Well,
finally
also,
got serious about it. Hold on, let me finish it up.
okay,
Because
okay.
he finally got serious about it, pulls out an attack that could have ended Luffy a long time ago,
Oh yeah, the
then gets
flame
knocked down from the
dragon.
same height,
Yeah.
and then literally plummets. Yep, and then plummets down into the lava right next to Big Mom. Because there was a shot in that lava where there was a silhouette of Big Mom and Kaido right next to each other, because both of them started from Rox's crew in their upbringing, and both of them ended in the same flame of that kind of started their whole pirate careers. And it's like a whole poetic metaphor that you can dive down to just off that concept alone. Like, bruh, and that's why I think Big Mom and Kaido are gonna come back. And if you ain't been reading the manga, Big Mom's kind of silhouetted, um, I ain't gonna just silhouetted a little bit
But
in some of this new
what I was
stuff.
gonna add to what you were saying is that we hear from Kaido's mouth what his definition of freedom is,
Right,
and
that's a good one.
how completely different it is from Luffy. Like, 'cause Kaido says, we're gonna take all these pampered noble-born rulers and drag them off their ivory thrones down to the battlefield with us. That's what I call equality and freedom, a world where war decides a man's true worth. When Luffy, we don't know Luffy's exact idea of what free is, but we know that he thinks
Yeah, but
everyone should have the
yeah,
right to choose their own way. And if you have a world full of war, you're not allowed to choose your own way. You're only allowed to choose war. So that makes it automatically diametrically opposed to Luffy's belief system when it comes to freedom. So that's like the big thing to add to what you were saying about like how it
that's true.
shows that Luffy's way of seeing the world eclipses Kaido's. Like that's why he ends up over the top of him.
Which
Like
is
he
very
adds
because you and that's even deeper too because Kaido in of himself was always complacent in the way he was. I felt like Kaido was what you call it, afraid, not afraid to, I won't say afraid to change, but he thought he didn't need to change. He thought it wasn't necessary
no, no.
because
I
he
would
got to a
argue that he
certain
is
point.
afraid to change. Was afraid to change.
I know you would. I know you would. I'm
Well,
trying to
no,
keep
like
it.
the thing, it's not because of like, cause I
I
think
know
Kaido's a bitch or anything. It's just like everybody's afraid to change. So it's like if the reason that I think he was afraid to change is because if he changes, then he might no longer be the strongest,
because the fact that he goes so
or his
far to say the
definition of the
only person
strongest.
the fact that he would go so far and say the only person that would ever eclipse him is Joy Boy.
Yeah,
It's
but we
like
know
if you
that's
know that,
bullshit.
yeah, we know that's bullshit. But then, 'cause especially when you come back and think about it, is why don't you, if you feel like that's the only dude that's gonna stop you, why not you somewhat prepare for it? Because isn't that what we find out now? Isn't that what the strongest have done? and Emo and them.
Or like, why the fuck haven't you fought Shanks in the actual fight? Like, we know Shanks is stronger for sure. Like, well, we'll
It's
get into that
irrefutable at
later.
this point.
Yeah, yeah. Shanks is like the closest. Even Buggy is just like Shanks is basically just Roger reincarnated, and Buggy hates Shanks now because Shanks
Yeah,
didn't want to become the Pirate King when they were like, what are they? They're like 12 when they have the argument, and that feeds back into what I'm saying. There's no way Buggy doesn't remember that the Straw Hat's hat is Shanks because Buggy perfectly remembers what Shanks' hat looks like in that moment
that's true.
when he's thinking. But we'll get to that in a minute because we are going to cover that later. But Kaido's just
Hmm.
like, I'm the strongest. We need war, but I'm not fighting Shanks. Fuck that. Like, that's basically what it boils down to. Because I
It
think he
feels
knows
like,
he'll
yeah,
lose. Like, let's be real. Like,
because you think about in a lot of things, you think about the way in which Luffy could went about things and stuff. Because it's bringing Shanks back into it. Because a lot of things go. I firmly believe that Kaido also knows that Straw Hat. Because I think him and Shanks, they had the Shanks after maybe the clash, but I know Shanks came up in the pirate world with that Straw Hat. Because you think about, I think about
yeah.
who's flashback when Shanks had two arms and he was rocking the Straw Hat.
Yeah, he
Like, and
rocked the
even
straw
then
hat up until he met
they
Luffy.
were they were world government agents who were could identify
Terrified
Shanks straight
of
up.
Shanks.
Yeah, so obviously he still had an identity before. So I would even go so far as to say that Kaido knew about the Straw Hat, but choose not to say it or chose to add it to his repertoire of hatred for Luffy, underlying hatred. But going back to the positioning, because like you say, he was afraid to change because seeing Luffy get to that high and just get high above him with the thinking that he directly opposed, because he did oppose Rogers' thinking, he did oppose Shanks. Um, Seeing him get to that height just infuriated him so much to actually make him start taking the fight seriously, because the scale in which that he upscaled to Bajron gun just lets me know if you had this in your arsenal this whole time. I understand maybe you still trying to preserve Onigashima. That's my only caveat to it. But at the
Well, it
same
could be one
time,
of those things that it's one of those techniques that when you use it, you're completely spent afterwards.
that's true too. I didn't.
So it
Yeah,
could be like
yeah.
one of those things like if Luffy can just be like, cool, I just won't touch you while you're doing that. And then, and his, it
He
could be
spins
like
himself and then
his,
gets mollywopped.
it could be like his Gear 4 moment where it's just like, oh shit, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then there's
Uh-huh.
also the fact, like, we see that it, like, burns one of the horns off, like, the tip of one of the horns off Onigashima, and it takes, like, to cremate bones with no pressure, it takes, like, thousands of degrees of heat, like, what's it called? What heat
You're right though.
cremates
You're right.
bone?
Because
Yeah, it's,
that cool.
to reduce bones to fragments, you have to it's 1400 to 1800 degrees Fahrenheit. So to
Yeah, so
burn,
him
so that
not
means
pulling that
it's
off.
over 2000 degrees because he just immediately makes some bones turn to ash. So
So yeah, he
like
would have
if
incinerated through Onigashima with
yeah,
that.
and so it would make sense that it also would burn through his stamina. Like cuz
Yeah.
you only
Because
use an
it
attack
then
like that like when you know you're going to
especially
win
comparing it
or
especially
last like
comparing
Hail
it
Mary
to
shit.
his next his next seemingly two strongest attacks in the dragon form, which is the blast breath and the dragon twister stuff. They weren't doing that kind of
Yeah, well,
damage.
there's also what's it called? Flame Bagua looks like it's his strongest attack.
I said just in his dragon form.
But no, I'm just saying like in general. But like as soon as he gets like I don't even know if it's so much that Luffy's punch knocks him out or if it's like a combination of how much Flame Bagua takes out of him. And then the add to the fact that he got the
So
shit rocked out of it. Like he got his shit rocked. like the last
Yeah.
10 seconds of round two of last night's fight with Alex Pierre and Ankalaev, where Alex got rocked. Like
Hmm.
it, if I was to guess what happened, it's that that move just takes almost everything out of him. 'Cause otherwise, he's just been doing it at every moment.
Yeah. That's
Because
true.
he got pissed off at Luffy a long time before this happened.
A long
You know
time
what I
before
mean?
that happened.
Because, like, at
Yeah,
first he
you're
was
right.
having fun. At first he was just having fun. He was like, fuck it, this is the most fun I've had in decades. And then eventually gets mad when he realizes he has a chance to lose.
A big chance to lose because you look at the progression with how the fight was going up until basically when Luffy transformed into Gear 5 and he got snatched out of that freaking performance floor through the roof again. The whole point from that fight on, like literally, he's having fun because he's enjoying the fight, and he realizes that he didn't get you know he didn't get proved to be as Cole was saying, excuse me, as Corrupted was saying his words, literally a bitch nigga because he literally
Hey, I didn't
was
say that.
got saved.
I didn't say. I didn't call him.
I'm paraphrasing.
I
I'm
know, I know, I
paraphrasing.
know, I know.
Paraphrasing.
I'm just being funny
I'm
about it.
paraphrasing. I know, but literally, because he got saved by the CP0 agent, and literally went out the same way that Odin went out, and tried to call himself the strongest as he's been. So he was happy off that. Then you put the factor in, Luffy was pretty much giving him the fight, not just any fight, but the fight, the one where, oh, if I lose here, it's over, and he started realizing that. But then he knocked him out, quote unquote, again, with the what where he thought he was doing something when he had him on the ropes and he went and did the stance on the ground. He's like, "Oh, I got you. Look at you. You on your knees again in your form. Then oh, now you hitting the floor. Now you mad now because you hitting the floor now too. Or you thought you didn't get took out of you. Oh, okay, okay. Now you see what's going on. Literally from that point on, when Luffy started grabbing lightning, picking up the ground, throwing it at him, now he want to coach him. Now he want to coach him about, oh, it ain't just about Del Bruce's hockey too. Where your hockey at? Oh, I'm gonna show you what hockey is. Throw a Ragnarok Thunder Baku that freaking separates the sky in of itself. And literally the next panel, probably not even maybe not even 2 episodes later, now Luffy's throwing you a big old punch, big as your island in your face
Well, I
with
just
hockey on it.
noticed looking at the manga, it shows it off much better than the anime. Here, I'll throw it up real quick. Um, you can see
Yeah, yeah.
the like where he's inside the cloak. Like as soon as the cloak fails, he's asleep. Like you notice that shit? Like as soon as the
Yeah,
cloak fails,
white
like
eyes,
yeah, yeah, he
white eyes,
immediately falls asleep. Like as soon as
straight
like
white
he's
eyes.
out. Like he's out the moment
Straight white eyes. You're not
the
lying. I
fucking
see it right
moment
there.
the moment it
Right
failed,
there.
like where it breaks through, because it starts like the cloak bites it, and he's like, "Oh God, that hurts,"
I ain't gonna
and
lie.
then
He
he
might
breaks through it, and then he
the way
hits him
that
in the
cloak
face,
looking.
and like you can see, the moment it breaks, like there, it's not even like where it shows his white eyes. His eyes are completely white as the fist is hitting him,
Even the cloak.
like he's
I mean,
gone.
the
Yeah,
cloak look like it's done.
as soon as the cloak breaks from the
And you see
Barangon,
that.
he's asleep. So yeah,
And you see the
that means it has to be that the cloak uses up almost all of his energy. You know what I mean? Like that's what that leads me to believe. That's why he can't use it willy nilly
you
until
see
he
that
awakens.
face next to Yamato of I think that's Kaido next to
N-
Yamato. The
No, no,
face.
no. That's
Not
Momonosuke.
that. No, no, no. Other side. Other side. I think not because Momonosuke is saying come for flame clouds. I think freaking he's saying, hey, nah. I think it might. I hope it's Momonosuke, but
Here we can.
it'd be
It's hard to
funny
tell.
if that was Kaido.
What chapter is this? 149. Let's see. 'Cause I don't know if this 149 has officially been colored yet. Oh, it has. Cool. It's officially been colored. I can tell you who it is.
Yeah, tell me. Tell me. I'd like to know. Because that'd be funny.
Give me 1 second. Gotta scroll. It is Momo.
All right, but nah,
See, it's
that's
pink.
just let you know the sheer thing. I can't see on my side. I gotta pull it
I
up.
just threw it up,
Oh, I see
but
it. I see it. I see
it's
it. I see
pink.
it. I see
Yeah,
it.
it's pink.
Nah, that's cool though. So yeah, you see it. So
But yeah, this shows it off even
even in the
better.
cloak,
Like his yeah, like the cloak. As soon as it breaks, like, cause it hasn't broken here, it breaks here. He's gone. Like the moment it breaks,
that
cause you
whole
can't really see
sequence
the
is pretty
flame that
much.
well in black and white. But yeah, and then when he's just falling, like you can see, like as soon as it breaks, like he's done.
And he's like, I like how in it he's kind of he went down and he's literally facing down. So he's looking straight towards his demise, just like, and it's so symbolic because Kaido's entire thing through this and whole thing is I'm gonna watch it come, and I'm gonna let it affect me and take it into its fullest and show you that I'm better than it. So even in this end, you're looking straight at your demise, seeing it coming, and you got to deal with it, even in his demise, and that's just so poetic. I love it. Like it's great. It's beautifully written, man. Kaido's demise is written perfectly to me. The demise part, like I like how he went down. Like Momonosuke, I feel like at the point when he if he, I hope he does, comes back into the story along with Yamato and them, but we gonna symbolize his growth, and we gonna see a lot of Kaido in his growth. Like imagine Momonosuke doing the little flame Susanoo dragon form he did on Luffy, because it's
I'm
starting to
sorry,
look
I'm
like
looking
he
at
can
the
do everything.
SPS of that from that volume, right? Or that chapter. And it's just like somebody's just like, what are the hobbies of the Toby Ropo? And X Drake it says reptiles facts and astrophysics.
Reptiles, facts, and astrophysics.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like the other one like who's who is like gambling. Black Maria is boxing and romance. Sasaki is homebrewing. Ulti is making accessories and teething her brother. Page 1 is fishing so he can be alone. But then X Drake is just reptile facts and astrophysics. I'm sorry, that shit was just so fucking funny to me.
Marine stuff.
It
At that
shouldn't have
point, that's
been that
all it is.
funny,
Just
but
marine
that
stuff.
shit, like, yeah, astrophysics. Also, remember while Kaido's falling, he's so fucked up that he turns back into his human form
Yep.
while he's falling, which like just shows like how gone he is. Because like you see Momonosuke passes out from exhaustion and he's still a dragon. Like right afterwards, like Momonosuke's like completely out of stamina and everything. He just passes the fuck out. He's still a dragon. But Kaido is so fucking gone that he
No, that's a
involuntary
good
transforms back.
that's a good what's the word I'm saying? That's a good gauge on how damaged Kaido was
Yeah,
from
because
that.
Momo like pulled off like the incredible feat of the day he learned to use his flame clouds on demand is the day that he stopped Onigashima from cratering the Flower City, which is another reason why like I heard people say that Kaido's brain was preoccupied. He wasn't paying full attention because he was controlling the flame clouds. I'm sorry, an 8-year-old that learned how to do it an hour ago pulled it off. I don't think it took that much of Kaido's attention. I'm gonna be real.
He did drop one thing about it though, and that's also debunked now because him at that last moment, he dropped the flame clouds to engage Luffy because that's what made Onigashima fall, and then that's what made Momo had to come to and realize, oh crap, I really need to catch this thing now
That could
because it's
also be
falling. If
the
I don't catch it,
what's it called? That could also be like how they use the flame cloak. The flame cloak could have to be it could just be using all the flame clouds you can possibly produce, but using wrapping
ah,
yourself in them. That could be what it is. Also,
yeah,
that
yeah,
would make
because
sense.
he dropped all the flame clouds in order to engage Luffy.
Yeah, but like I don't think that like I don't think that took much of his attention just cuz
Yeah,
like
no, at
a
that point,
literal
because
fucking 8 year
with
old
all he was,
did the same thing.
not even that. When you think about
The
how
day he learned how to do
powerful
it.
he was, when you think about how powerful he was and out throughout the entire fight while still having him and only dropping him at the point which he felt like Luffy was about to like mess him up, that's actually like you're right. Like I don't think it really is since an 8-year-old did it and figured it out. That's one of the first abilities he figured out how to do as a dragon. Yeah, I don't think it's that bad. Even took him a minute to learn blast breath.
Yeah, yeah, like
It
he
took him
learns blast breath when Rengokuyo or however you say his name shows up when Green Bull shows up.
Ryokyu.
That's Ryokuyo. Uh like he knows how to do blast breath at that point, so I don't think it's and also like if you remember when you back all the way back in the Nice lobby, the Kaku and Khalifa explain that as soon as you eat the devil fruit, you understand fundamentally how to use it.
Hmm.
It's just it makes sense. Momo didn't because he what's the word? He repressed all those memories because he's so terrified of a dragon. Because
That
remember,
and thought
whenever he
about
got so scared that he would forcefully turn into a dragon and he'd like
hmm
sleepwalk, like he'd like make himself
hmm
faint and then sleepwalk, he could use all the powers instinctively. So it just like ties back into like what Kaku was saying, like you understand fundamentally how to use your powers. Like there's parts of it you don't know, obviously, but like
That's where
as
the
soon as you
awakening
eat the
comes
fruit, yeah, like but you see where like how that whole thing works out. You see how it is, and it's just like
because it's like it's
yeah,
like
that
you understand
couldn't have taken
fundamentally how
that
to
much
use
out
your
of
power.
Kaido.
It's like you understand all the fundamentals of really how to use it. Of course, there's a mental blockage, but then as of usage go, the fundamentals turn into like you learn all the different ways you can use it. That's like with
Or at
Luffy.
least
Like I'm pretty
or at
sure,
least what
like he
Kaku's
later,
talking about is that he's talking about zone fruits. But also Khalifa knew understood how to use the soapso fruit almost immediately too, which is a paramecia or
yeah,
paramethia nowadays is what they call it. But you know, like that shit is just interesting. Also, another moment that I like is as soon as Luffy wins, we see what's her name, Otama, or no, Otoko. We see Otoko, um, at the thing with Sakazuki or not Saka. What's his name? Sakayaki. Is that? Fuck, I can't
Sukiyaki.
remember. Huh? It is Sukiyaki.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sukiyaki.
With Sukiyaki, and he's just like, so what do you want to ride on the balloon? And she's just like, my daddy was a great man, right? Because she started to write, I want to see my dad again. And then, like, he explains to her, like, he was one of the greatest men Wano ever knew, and he was a great warrior. And so she changes it to be, thank you, dad. Or actually, I think it translates to thank you, daddy, because it's like a little girl saying it. And
Mm-hmm.
that she lets it go, like, the moment Luffy wins, and it's
Mm-hmm.
actually kind of dope because the reason that he dies is the only reason the raid succeeds.
Mm-hmm.
Because like if he doesn't take the fall for everything, the raid gets squashed immediately.
Yeah, they stuff everybody out. Everybody is killed or captured, literally
Yeah,
at that
because
moment.
remember he's the one that set it up for Denjiro to be able to like pick up the fact that him taking the fall made sure Denjiro understood what was going on, so he could have everyone in the correct spot after
At
the
the
fuck up.
yep,
So like
yep.
so he's the
Tactician
entire
genius.
So like he's the entire reason the raid even happens in the first fucking place. So it's like as soon as they win, she releases the one that says thank you to her, which
And
is
then you think about it too. You think about
cool.
just all the stuff Yasui did. How deep he was just for just keeping the people of Wano up. Who ate the smile fruits because oh man, like because they showed it after everything. It was in one of the flashbacks of how it came about that Tama and Yasui ate the smile fruit because Tama ate it first, just started laughing and she started panicking, like why she couldn't stop everything and stuff, and then
Yeah.
Yasui didn't know what to do, and he just said, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna eat it too. And then he literally eats it and then starts dancing to keep his own daughter up, and then that turns into what he does for the people of Wano to keep them up, and it calls back to when the people first heard that they lost him and how they was all a happy people, and I know where as soon as they lost him, just start like it was almost like when Zoro found out that they were laughing uncontrollably and stuff like that, and that's when they found out they had the smiles and stuff. Yeah, that whole moment, like it was, they couldn't hold it anymore after they lost him because he was the whole foundation for their own mental
But
stability.
also, what's interesting about Toko is that hers is the only one that's not a request that you see. Like all the
That
others that you see is get me out of this hell. I hope to feel better. Clean water. Food to eat. I want my mommy back. Uh, there's a couple other ones that I can't remember what they say off the top of my head. Also, you can't read of them. But hers is just. It started off, I want to see daddy again, but she changed it to I want, or she just changes it to thank you, daddy, which is like a cool character moment.
next level of understanding.
Yeah, cause like he sacrificed everything for Wano.
And even at that moment, you got to realize none of them know that they just got liberated. So that's really next level character growth. None of them at that moment they released those lanterns know that they just got liberated.
Yeah, and then we learn like the person taking care of all the kids. It's it's kind of his fault. Well, to be fair, he got tricked, so like it's not 100% his fault, but he did put himself in a position to get tricked. You know what I mean? Like
You
I
talking
don't want
about
to victim blame Odin's dad,
oh
but
Sukiyaki?
if he would have been more vigilant, none of this shit would have happened. If he would have just been a little more vigilant. Also though,
Yeah,
like Odin
that's true.
shouldn't have stayed away that long, but like
Just following his dream, man.
I get that, but look what you did to your son following your dream.
True.
Following your dream stole 20 years of your son's life.
And daughter.
Yeah. Well, like she got to live it, but there is the argument like how much did she really get to
Yeah,
live?
yeah.
Since she had to screw the guy that is responsible for her dad's death constantly, which probably was not fun. Like, well, probably is probably a understatement. Also, another cool thing is when they win, the thing that what's it called? That you see in one of the pictures is you see a torii gate,
Mm-hmm.
which is like if people don't know, in Japanese culture, torii gates is like a symbol of the unbreakability of the Japanese people, because torii gate the there's a torii gate that didn't crumble when one of the atomic bombs went off. Like it stayed half, like it was more than half still standing. Like one of the posts was destroyed, but most of it was still there, and so it's come to symbolize the how unbreakable the will of the Japanese people are now, is what it's a metaphor for.
And
And
it's
so
crazy. That's
you
so
see that
crazy
with
that you
Wano
mentioned that.
too. After they
It's so
win,
crazy. So crazy that you mentioned that because there was this um what does you call it? Like a poetry moment that I saw because you mentioned the Tory Gate being the unbreakable will, and then you see that in Wano kind of representing their will, and it's crazy to mention that's right before what's about to happen with the invasion of Ryokugyu. Um, bro, Ryokugyu is a crazy poetry moment in Wano when you think about it. First off, it's almost like reality Soon as you say, yeah, y'all know everyone probably in this one, soon as something go right, there's always something else that pop up. Soon as things going too well, you always look out because something about to go wrong and all of that. And that's kind of what Ryokugyu and the world government represents for Wano because they've overcome this huge hill in taking out Kaido and restoring the freedom of the Wano and the people back and everything, putting Momonosuke in the Shogun era just to say, hey, these people that's not been here for a long time in the world government and the rest of the world, hey, we want to have a and Ryokuyu coming because it made me think about this was how he was first seen walking through the field right before he goes up to Udon where Queen and the rest of the people are and there's the flower that grows and then he steps on it and it was like he is literally and it's crazy he has wood powers too forest growth and he symbolizes the destruction of growth that Wano is about to incur and I say that for Wano but it's crazy because he tells the Akazaya and Momonosuke that I don't have any business with you my business is with Luffy. So, and he talks about how he's trying to basically snuff Luffy out before he gets too bad. And then that's when Shanks tells him that does the new era, why he does what he does, because he tells him, does the new era scare you so much? So, of course, the growth of the new era that's now blossoming, because he stepped on blossomed flowers. He didn't step on flowers that were budding. He stepped on, like, he grew the flowers up. They were almost adult stage, then stepped on them. So that lets you know that Luffy's now getting to the point where he's blossoming into a full-fledged pirate, and now Ryokugyu and the world government's trying to step on him in through Wano. And it so happens that Wano is now in their big growth, trying to come out of this into their new era, is now trying to get stepped on by the world government as well. And the
And
Tory
then
Gate you mentioned, brother, it's like that brings it together because it's like they really trying to stay unshakable, but you see that another calamity trying to come and rear its head.
also, another thing that's interesting that I never noticed it because I didn't get to read this part in color in the official colored because when I caught up on the manga, the Wano wasn't fully colored yet. The
Right.
official color for Momonosuke's sword is
It's
almost
white
the
and gold,
same
ain't it?
color. No, it's not actually white. It's pink. And the official colored version of the manga is pink, which is weird.
Shit
It's
is
almost
weird.
like Odin knew his son was gonna get turned into a dragon. Cause it's the same color as his kimono, and his kimono is pink. The one that has the what's it called? The Kazuki emblem on the hip. You know what I'm talking about? I just thought that was interesting, just cause never saw it in color. So the official color of it. That's that's some foreshadowing right there, though. Considering he's gonna be the Dragon King that takes over, if that's actually what it's supposed to be. Because the official color is like there's some stuff that's different in the official color than the anime, so it's weird.
That would be one of them.
Yeah, man, I can only imagine how it feels to drink water that doesn't give you diarrhea for the first time in 20 years. That's gotta be
Right.
wild.
Next level. Next level stuff. I wonder what they were eating for all those 20 years sides, like what they could get and
Probably
all
each
that.
other, honestly.
Hey, nah, I won't say all that.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case every so often. And then I
But
love how Hiyori still friggin' acts like a kid, like we see her drop kick Momo
yeah,
as an adult, which is hilarious. And then we get the big party. And I love when he tries to like smooch up on Nami again, and Nami's just like, "Listen here, you little shit. You look creepy now. You're not a little kid. You're not allowed to do that. Stop it.
They
Get
also
some
show
help."
like in the they also show in the background how basically Sanji, Zoro, and Luffy casually using their new power ups like they're nothing now. Like once they start using stuff casually, is to symbolize how what's the word? How like attuned it is.
How ingrained?
That's yeah, it's probably a better word, ingrained.
Yeah.
But a lot of stuff when you get out of when you think about Momonosuke's and people of Wano and how they do it. Because even when you come back and think, when we come back to our metaphor and we talk about the Ubermans, Luffy didn't even want people to know that he was the one that saved them.
Yeah, he
The
told the
story was it was
entire
Joy
people
Boy.
to say it was Momonosuke, and then that
Some
beat
people said it
Kaido.
was the dude, the teacher dude who was telling the story for the kids said it was Joy Boy at the end. I think that's as close as they got.
Yeah, but I
Um,
just said he said he wouldn't let him say anything about it.
right, wouldn't name him at all, and that just goes right on back to it because doing everything not for any glory or any kind of reward or any kind of recognition. Just hey, it needs to be done, and it got done.
And then we also got the thing where Morgans basically tells the world government to go fuck themselves,
Yeah, they basically
and
says
he
like, oh, you want
officially
me
is
to
on the run.
lie for you? You want me to lie for you?
Like he's done it in the past, but we finally see like something change with Morgans. I guess I'm gonna assume it's the CP9 agent that showed up trying to kill him that made Morgan
It
say,
might
you know
even
what,
be,
never
you
mind,
know
we're
what?
not doing it.
I would
Or
even go so far as to go deeper and say that it's the fact that he's probably that's credence to him being a Roger pirate.
yeah, as soon as he sees the Luffy, that he goes, okay, the boss's plans in action now. Since we can see Joy Boy, okay, let's go. It also
Because
would
think
make
about it.
sense why he covered Luffy so much, because
Yeah,
if he was a Roger pirate, he would recognize the Straw Hat immediately as Shanks's Straw Hat or Ryder
yep.
Straw Hat, depending on how early he joined the crew originally. So there's like a so that could also be why Straw Hat is the most talked about
And think about
member
it
of the
too.
worst generation.
Think about it too. Before right before gave up because the last time we saw Morgans before this was him naming Luffy as the fifth emperor of the sea. So that gives credence to that. So imagine him knowing that that's the Straw Hat because he's always been kind of you know uppity on Luffy. You know, he even gave him a higher bounty. I mean, I think that was rat face, but I think Morgan saw Luffy as an opportunity to
Yeah.
boost his name, and it could have been off the Straw Hat because he knows what
Also,
that Straw Hat represents.
the manga wording of what Morgan says is super interesting. I didn't even think about this. Talking about that, it's he starts laughing when someone tells him to stop the press, and he says, "Just look at that mystical form." Like you don't call it a mystical form unless you know something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
you got to know something because
yeah,
even it's been known and spoken up now that the only person in the Straw Hats who knew about Luffy's form before anyone else was Jinbei, because even in the episode where he first gets revealed to the crew in Lucci's fight, Jinbei is the one in the Straw Hats crew that says that's the warrior of liberation.
yeah.
So Jinbei knows something about it.
Well, like remember, they all or most of them saw it because when he got his head knocked through, and Nami was just like, "What's with the white
Yeah, that was
hair?"
just Nami. Nami was in there, and Law and Kid
Yeah, and then
amongst that,
you,
and then there's all the Straw Hats have seen it now because they were in that watching screen with Vegapunk during Luffy and Lucci's fight.
Morgan says the last message sent out by Cyberpol after they vanished in Wano was its Big Mom's ship. I won't let them manipulate this narrative. At moments like these, when the world is in flux, the straight facts are the most fascinating news there is.
Hmm. I'm telling you, it gives credence
So
to
yeah,
him
it
being a
does.
Roger pirate because everyone's as soon as Luffy's like hitting this like peak or they're meeting him and stuff, they're starting to like not I want to say like kind of they're helping them, but not really like helping them. They're more so like gauging them and pointing them in the right direction,
But
like almost
also,
every time.
the other thing I think that gives credence to him being a Rogers pirate is that there's not an avian version of Minx.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, it's got to be a Zoan devil fruit. I,
yeah,
Because there's fishmen and then there's minks, and minxes are all mammals. And there's not a reptile version of minx, and there's not a avian
avian.
version
Yeah,
of minx. So
and there's not
like,
an avian. It's not. We haven't seen an avian race besides
yeah, there's
like
not a avian
Lunarians, but
race. There's the
Lunarians don't
closest thing,
count.
yeah. And he looks he looks very similar to Pale's transformation when Pale does his hybrid form. You know what I mean? Like Pale,
Yeah,
remember? Pale gets a beak and everything.
yeah, that's definitely true. You're right about that.
The difference is like for some reason Pale has extra what's it called? Pale has extra limbs because he keeps his arms, if I remember correctly. Right? His Yeah, he kept his arms, but and he didn't have bird feet, but he had bird claws for hands. So it does. I'm just Morgan's just reminds me of Pell, like his design reminds me a lot of Pell. So I wouldn't be shocked if Morgan's is a Zoan fruit user, and it would be cool if he is one. It was a Roger Pirate,
That'd be the next reveal of the century there.
but also it would
Mm,
also make
Having a
sense,
twin.
like why everyone would assume that a Zoan fruit user couldn't be a Roger Pirate is because I'm pretty sure Bucky was the only Roger Pirate with the Devil Fruit power.
But Bucky didn't get his till after.
No,
Wait, no, he
he
didn't.
got it
No,
on the
no,
yeah, yeah. He
he
got
got on.
scared by Shanks because remember
Yeah, he was gonna use
they're
it.
not on the same ship anymore after the
Yeah,
execution.
he was gonna use it for gonna sell it,
Yeah, he was gonna
and then
sell
he
it.
ended up getting scared and eating it. Yeah, they were on the
Yeah.
same ship. I remember now. I remember
So I
seeing.
think I think that's the so like I can't think of anyone else that has a Devil Fruit power on the crew. So that would be
That we
like
know
a
of.
yeah, because it's easy
Because the
to imply.
top three don't. Shanks don't.
Yeah,
So we know
everybody that
Crocus.
we've actually seen doesn't. Like the ones that they've actually introduced us to. So it makes sense. If you're a Roger Pirate and you want to disappear, just eat a Zoan Devil Fruit. And
Yeah,
then
they
no
never
one's
suspect
gonna,
a thing.
and just walk around in your hybrid form
And
all
somebody
the
like
time.
Morgan's, someone like Morgan's and his personality type, I would 100% not put that past him to do that
Yeah, it's
at all.
it's super clever. Like let's be real. Like you get out of it, you lose $100 million bounty. Because there's no way that
Because think
everyone
about
on
it
the
too.
cross, on the
And,
not the straw hat, but there's no way none of them have under 100 million berry bounty. There's no way.
and think about it too. Think about it too in Morgan's case. Perfect timing. Because he says F you to the world government. Same time, he's got Vivi here, who Vivi's trying to get back to the Straw Hats. You got Wampa with you. Wampa's got the dirt, the dirt on, Emu and that whole fight with them. So he's got leverage. Then Vivi going towards the Straw Hats. You're going the closer you get towards Straw Hats, they're going to protect Vivi, and that's going to be for you. So we talk about his cleverness and talk about all that and his planning, dude. All this is meticulous at this point. Like you put all this stuff together, him going towards the Straw Hats, saying "F you" to the world government. What are they really going to? Because the closer they come trying to chase him, come try to find him, and he's going to by the time they come after him, he's next to the Straw Hats, giving them delivering Vivi to them. 'Cause I firmly believe that's where they're going, because he's on the move. He's in his little air balloon, and he's heading towards. Straw Hat Vivi's looking for the Straw Hats, as we've now seen in Elbath, with them sending a message through the paper, which is Morgan's method of communication. So wherever they are, they see that Vivi's looking for them, which they still haven't addressed yet in the manga, amid all this chaos that's happening, which I find very interesting, very, very, very interesting. But it's a lot of things about Morgan's that's once it gets revealed, it's gonna be very,
Yeah, I'm looking
very
forward to
written.
it to see what they do with it. Also, another interesting thing, I don't know if it's that they're just still so beat up after their fight, or if Green Bull is just that strong because he instantly beats Queen and King, just instantly. I
I
assume
say that because they're so beat up.
I assume part of it's because they're so beat up, but you still gotta admit, like, instantly beating them is crazy. Like,
Yeah,
like no diffing them, just instantly just beating them.
yeah, no, 100%. I agree with you because you think about it too, with all the stuff that they went on, with they all the stuff that they put the Straw Hats through. Well, in Queen and King's case, all the things they put just Zoro and Sanji through is just crazy in of itself. But to
Yeah,
get
and he
no
just
diff,
like uses his
put up
fucking
absolutely no
fingers.
fight. Yeah,
Yeah,
put up
just his
absolutely
fucking
no fight at
fingers.
all. Yeah, I'm with you on that. That is
Like,
a pretty deep one. But you see how far he's come in Ryokugyu when fire, the obvious weakness to his devil fruit, doesn't even hurt him. Like he's trained a hell of a lot in order to stop his obvious weakness, which
well,
you see.
also, it's like such an OP ability too, because he can steal the moisture from anything, which is
Yeah,
fucking
he could
wild.
turn the most luscious forest into a desert desert, pretty much a deserted desert in like no
Well, he
time
can
at
also
all.
do that to people.
Yeah,
Like we see, what's her name, Shinobuya, gets turned back into her old looks because of the fight with Green Bull.
yeah,
And he's not just a Logia, he calls it the pure Logia, which is interesting.
yeah. Because I think it works like you think about a spectrum, like how Blackbeard's works to how Ryokugu's work. And Blackbeard's is really like I think he acts like he takes the damage, but it ends up healing and mitigating itself somehow over time. And in Ryokugu's level, I think in his case he can like move in between it. Like you remember how Pika was doing his, but
Yeah,
I don't even think he
yeah,
was a
that would make
Logia.
sense.
Like how he
No,
was
his
just
is a
moving his.
paramecia. His is a
Yeah,
paramecia.
but just to give it an example of how he was kind of moving through that rock, I think Ryokugyu can do the same thing, except it's pure Logia. Wherever he's grown the woods at, it's like kind of him,
I am
and he
curious
just
though,
kind
does
of
it work like other stuff? Like, because we see he can turn into a tree, but can he turn into a flower? Or does he just make them?
I think it's just what he identifies with, because he's green
Yeah.
and all that. Think
Well,
because
like,
Delta's identity based.
or like, could he like turn into just leaves, sort of thing? You know what I mean? Like, because we know he can grow leaves because he hasn't eaten in
He's a flower
forever.
bed and stuff and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like he grew a flower bed, but can he
he was
turn
using
into it?
vines. But I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to say. It's hard to say.
Yeah. And then he gives the speech about so you know how things work outside of here. The celestial dragons are the gods of this world, and here in this country, unaffiliated with the world government, you have no human rights. Like he has the whole.
Hmm.
Also, the interesting thing is the official name for his devil fruit in Japanese is the woods fruit,
Hmm.
and he has the power of a forest. It's not just the that he can turn into wood. It's like a forest. That's what it's supposed to be like. Which I think it's a gaslight. I think Oda wants us to think that's the forest god's power. Just because I don't see the forest god not being a Zoan. Like if the sun god's gonna be a Zoan, all the god's fruits have to be a Zoan, in my opinion. Just 'cause, like, I
Maybe
don't
not.
think it makes sense to make the god, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't
Yeah, it
think it makes
does.
sense for the god to be a
If there's
Logia
three of
type.
them, if there's three of them, and there's three different Loki, there's three different devil fruit types. It could
Well, there's four
synergize.
different gods.
Oh, there's four. I thought there was three. I
No,
thought
no,
we
no.
were counting
Remember,
Luffy
it's
as something like external.
sun, earth, forest, rain, or at least how Kalgara's people worship it is the rain, but it could
I
also
thought
be
they,
like the
I thought
sea.
they treated the sun as the supreme one overall, and then the other three came behind it. That's the way I thought it
Like
was.
they might have
They,
worshipped that one like special, but it's
because
still
that one's
the only
across.
gods. It's still
Because the
their
thing
only
about it,
gods.
but the thing about it is what we starting to see. Because Calgara's religion and stuff is different from everyone else's. Because
Yeah,
we see the Buccaneers and the fish people and all their different religions have to get included as well. So
but
like,
also we
I
see
don't
in
think
the
the Buccaneers keep the other ones that
yeah,
worship the other ones,
but like in the Harley text, like they're given like their own providence. You know what I mean? Or
right?
at least the ones that they talk about, because I don't know if they talk about the rain god, but it could also just be that's what they mean, the sea. But like, I just don't see a world where it is not they're not all Zoan. Like they might have the properties of a Logia, but I don't see a world where they're not a Zoan that
I
has
mean, shoot,
ability
you
like
see
Marco.
the way the way the Suns ones work. How we talked about that one last episode about how in Luffy's Devil Fruit it has pretty much properties of all three, but it's primarily a zone. It could be the same way. It could be like a primarily one, but it could act like the other ones. But I don't see it acting like its own unless it transforms. But
Yeah,
it could be one of those things where it's a Logia that could be malleable, like Karakuri's Mochi. It could be malleable enough to where they've malleated it enough to do that, or like a Paramecia that did something like that too. And they'd have to have hockey base to make it like a Logia. So you know what? You know what? I'm digressing. I'm gonna have to wait and see.
well, it's just that because we know that the gods were actual people,
Yeah,
to have their powers, it would have to be a Zoan. You know what I mean? Like how it gives like the human
mind of
fruit
its own
model.
thing,
You know what I
the
mean?
mind of its
Like
own whole thing,
yeah, well, not just mind of its own thing, but
will of its
to
own.
give them to give you the powers of whichever god it is, it would
Yeah,
have to
will
be
of
a
its own.
Zoan. So
Yeah, the will of its own thing to put that
yeah,
actual to personify that it'll have to be its own because
yeah.
it doesn't make sense to
But
personify
also you're
something
just
when you're trying to
being
affect the
like it's
environment.
giving you the powers
And
of a creature. Like
yeah, yeah. So it's like what you're because like we talk about the consistency in the show at this point. Like there's a God's fruit that's a parent. I'm saying it's always like string. You know what I'm saying? Mochi
yeah,
mochi. It's a thing, you know, that they're using
yeah,
in the
yeah.
Paramecia case.
But the
In
mythical
Logia's
Zoans,
case,
they are you becoming that thing. But kind
yeah,
of
then
with the Logia you
then
are
they're still
too. So
creatures
Logia
too.
is.
Like they're still a
Yeah.
creature or a thing that they're
Like a good
personifying.
example is Sengoku's Devil Fruit.
Yeah,
Because
but
it's
he's
like
still a
it's not a
father.
god in their universe, but it is a like it is worshipped like a god in our like in our world. The
Yeah,
Buddha is worshipped like a god. So it's like interesting. And then another thing that's interesting is we get to see how strong Shanks is, and it makes every other feat of strength until the end of Egghead look tiny. You know what I mean? Like when Shanks pulls up, he's just like, "Man, I haven't been here in like 27 years." I know it's not 27. I think it's 24 years. Or no, no, no. No, actually, I think it is 27. I said 27 as a joke, but I think it has been 27 years since he's been to Wano. Cause what's it called? They said goodbye to Odin, No, I think it's 26 years. It's when they said goodbye to Odin. But he just rocks up. He has wholesale ass walks up, activates his hockey, and Green Bull goes, I want absolutely 0% of that smoke. Just from being several miles away. Like, dude, that's fucking wild. Like, he's several miles off the coast of Wano, and he's just like, I'm gonna release my Conqueror's hockey because I can sense somebody being an idiot over there with my observation hockey. And it's so strong that it knocks out people on the crew that understand what hockey is. Because he's like, what's his name says like, what's his wording? You're gonna, or you're messing with the new recruits. It just shows
Knock
like
out the new
Shanks is
recruit.
just on a total different level.
Yeah, he literally tells you that he's the guardian of pretty much the new era in what he does. Even the new recruits, because in that same moment, him using the word era and like I don't think he uses sprouts. I think it was one of the translations. I remember reading this. One of the translations used like sprouts. He cares so much about the sprouts of the new era.
Yeah,
Might
I
have been
tell
one of
you.
the off translations. It was one of the earlier translations. I'm going off like my earlier readings, not the officials and stuff that's out now.
Oh, I got you. And then we get the whole
But
thing where the frame job of Sabo.
yeah, started to get that getting started up.
I get
Sabo
why we
going into the
don't
belly
get
of the
to read
beast,
the road poneglyphs, but I still want to know what the road poneglyphs say. Because it'd probably give away too much of the story if Robin's just like, here's what it says on a piece of paper. It is crazy how much damage Bass Breath does to Green Bull.
that was going back to when you think about it, pure Logia, because you see every time he gets hit, he kind
Oh,
of on the
actually,
street.
hey, it doesn't show it off amazingly in the anime because it's so fast, but the manga actually answers my entire ass question.
Which one?
He can turn into leaves. Like, he can just turn into Sprout with leaves on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't know it had leaves on it. I thought it was just a sprout. I thought you wasn't counting that
No, like,
as
it
like
just
leaf.
was hard to tell in the anime, but yeah, he, to get out to transfer from the big tree mode to get out of there, he like sends a sprout underground to pop out, and then the sprout grows back into his body. But fucking, he gets absolutely scared. Like Green Bull gets absolutely. He's like, "That's Supreme King Hockey. Who's doing that? The red hairs. Are you nearby?" And it just shows Shanks chilling
Hmm.
miles off the coast.
Not even really struggling for real, just releasing.
Yeah, yeah. He's just standing there with like his foot on something, like Captain Morgan pose.
And then the shot, the panel with him, it shows like the backside of him on the front of the ship with all the dudes laying down. It's the same one. Chill out, Captain. You're like knocking out the new recruits.
Yeah. Also,
And
they're
yeah,
not just. He's not just knocking them out. They are choking on their own saliva because they're foaming at the mouth.
because it's that intense.
Yeah. But
That intense.
what he said, the official translation for what he says is, or at least I assume this, since this is the official colored, it should be the official translation. Is now I'm not accusing you of fighting dirty, Navy man, but when the new shoots that just changed pirating history are exhausted from their feet, don't you think you're doing a bit much? So it's like new sprouts, new shoots, because it's like that's what you call a new bamboo, a new piece of bamboo
Hmm.
is a
Yep.
shoot.
And then shoot.
Yeah. So So yeah, he's just like, and he also puts it into words that Green Bull would understand. He's explaining it in like botanist terms. So he's just like, look, bro, I could beat your ass right now, but I think we can all
So just to
agree
tell you
you're
that
being
he
a
knows,
bitch.
yeah, just so like he knows like it's him because he said the Navy man then uses that terminology, so he knows it's Green Bull.
And then he drops the, "Are you that afraid of the new era?" And yes, yes, they are. They are
Yes,
100% that
very
afraid of
much
the
so.
new. Yeah, 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 yeah.
100%.
That's
100% they are afraid of
that's
that new era.
100%.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
He's terrified of it. Why
Green
do you
Bull,
think he showed up when
Green
they
Bull
fired
was
him?
doing the right thing because when you realize Green Bull was the right thing in the side of the Marines, because when you realize that the Reverie, once they showed it was a preamble, that everything they showed that was happening in the Reverie happened while they were already in came.
Yeah,
Green Bull came after that to Wano to stop Luffy. Yeah, I would too.
yeah.
You
And
mean
then
to
he
tell me you
says,
got cause real quick, you remember the whole fact that Green Bull pretty much just fought off Fujitora because Fujitora had just met Luffy in Dressrosa, and now Fujitora
yeah,
wants to liberate
Fujisaura's just like,
everybody.
nah, bro, we not pulling the shit. I told you, bro. I told you,
So
we changing
now
the system. And he's
Ryokugyu's
just like,
like, I got to go find the dude that changed his mind and kill him to get him back on our side.
yeah,
That's what it looked like to me.
that is what it looks like. But also, the interesting thing that Green Bull says is, he says in response to the hockey is, "I'm not looking to pick a fight with you guys, not yet." And the "not yet" implies that he thinks he needs a whole bunch of motherfuckers with him to be able to take on Shanks.
A
Is the
full plan.
implication?
He can't take on Red Hair and the Red Hair Pirates by himself.
Dude, I don't think there's a single person that can take Shanks and Ben at the same time in the verse, besides maybe Emu right now.
Man, you throw Lucky Roo in there, you just
Well, I'm just saying, like,
crazy.
Kizaru refused to fight Ben Beckman. So, like Kizaru went, "My bad. I'm good. You, you, you have fun, Chief." And walks, so you know what I mean? Like, Ben Beckman shows up, threatens to shoot him in the face, and Kizaru, the dude that's, like, made out of fucking light, is just like, "I apologize. I'm gonna go over here now." You know what I mean? Like, in the entire time that we've seen people shoot stuff, they haven't been able to do shit to Logia. So the fact that he goes, "I'm not fighting Big Beckman" immediately and just walks away, just says like,
Nope, no smoke.
yeah, like no smoke. Like, he wants absolutely 0% of the smoke. I think he understands that he would get absolutely fucking clapped. Yeah, I think he understands because like in one of the movies, it shows like Shanks like shows up in one. I forgot what movie it is. I think it's the Yuta movie. Because like they're not canon, but they show us like approximations of what would happen if they got into these situations. Is what the movies show.
Exactly.
And
Hmm.
Kizaru is just like, "None of y'all can keep up with me. I'm too good." Blah 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 blah. Like, getting a big head, and then Shanks just jumps in front of him, and Kizaru shits himself. And Kizaru's just like, I apologize. Maybe my words were too crass." Like, that's exactly what he does. He's just
Even
like,
going,
"Whoops,
even going into
oops."
just what he did in Marineford. I
Yeah,
bet him sat on that, pointed that gun at him. Then a dude like Kizaru, who in this part two of Egghead that's about to air in 30 days, is about to show us that this guy put his hands up against that guy.
yeah. Just
Like,
immediately goes, "Yeah, I don't want that smoke. Like, that's a little too much
like
smoke."
so many seeds have been planted in this show, and it's like coming back to think about it. It's like we're about to see a dude of a caliber of an admiral who, in the show of One Piece, has considered to be light speed, and he put his hands up against a dude who don't got that. I'm just like, that's a feat. And we ain't even seen this dude fight yet. And that's the thing about One Piece. A lot of people be upset at that fact. Haven't seen people that we gas up who we haven't even really seen throw a punch yet. And I understand, but that gives so much credence to the story because until we see those people fight, I would never consider the story over. Until we can see the dragon lift his finger up, One Piece is not over. Until we can see Ben Beckman lift up, like we saw Yasui throw a punch or do. I mean, excuse me, not Yasui, Yasop throw a punch or throw some kind of attack before Ben Beckman ever has. So I know Ben Beckman's gonna be one of those guys once it really shows him actually do something to somebody. I think he's gonna be one of those guys that you're gonna talk about.
He has to be, or it's just
Because
gonna be like sheer sadness.
even in Yasop, I ain't gonna tell y'all what Yasop do because it's a spoiler and I know some people's favorite characters is what Yasop do to uh so I ain't gonna say nothing, but Yasop is that guy. If all he can do is just shoot at you and blow your ship up, that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. So if Yasop coming like that, I know Ben Beckman got to be that guy. And I've been thinking about the damage of hockey lately because man, we're gonna get to it because Shanks, but I can talk about it just on the smaller scales that we've seen on other stuff now. Hockey in of itself is like a power scale. Like hockey does stuff. Like pure hockey can cause damage. So at this point, I have to like think about that now, because Garp's now showing us that, and Shanks is showing us that somebody with pure hockey. Well, shit, Roger's showing us that. Let me go back to Roger. Wanna, where we at? Divine Departure when we first saw it. A pure hockey strike. That's basically doing that, and that's hockey. We see Shanks has upgraded it, so pure hockey can cause damage. So if Yasop coming like that, I'm thinking Beckman that for sure. Because we finna see Shanks come like that. We finna see it. We're gonna talk about that for sure. But I know Sabo being your favorite character, one of your favorite characters, if not your favorite character, is one of your favorite characters in One Piece.
No,
Seeing
he is
him
my
now,
favorite.
he is
Yeah,
100%.
yeah, he is my favorite
Um,
character.
seeing Sabo now getting his shine because I love the whole thing behind Sabo because he's been pushed up for a great reason. I think Sabo's the reason why Oda did this way and kind of like a halfway two part, kind of really kind of leading up to that because it's a big moment in the story. It's a huge moment in the story. The emo reveal is a huge moment. But the first part, right after Wano, once they get done with the partying and all that, after Momonosuke sheds his tears and stuff, because he's big baby. But
Also, another
Sabo,
crazy part. The before we leave
oh, you
Wano
want to
that
talk
we gotta
about
talk
that? You
about.
want to leave Wano yet?
Yeah, yeah. It's because there's something that we can't not talk about. It's the fact that Luffy claims Wano as like he puts Wano under the banner of the Straw Hat Fleet.
No, he's a whole straw hat. Yeah, he's a straw hat.
Yeah, like that was the whole thing. Like they didn't leave just so they could give him, just so they could get. Like I just want to make sure we go over that because that's just crazy. It's unaffiliated. It's never done anything with pirates before, and then now it's under the protection of Luffy. That's just
Yeah, because he's
crazy.
first fired coming there, and it's crazy. No, actually, that is a bar because you think about it. Because historically, consistently in One Piece, oh man, consistently in One Piece, man, up until this point, the people who have worked with pirates have tried to keep their best to keep pirates out of it, minus Fishman Island. Because Fishman Island was already under pirate rule before, and then Luffy took it over. And now you come and see Punk Hazard doesn't count because Punk Hazard wasn't affiliated with anything. Well, it was a government world government island, so you can't really take that. But Dressrosa, in its case,
It was super
probably now,
affiliated.
yeah, super affiliated with pirates. It's like pretty much a pirate hub, but I don't think Luffy took that as a territory officially. He probably is highly allied with them, like
Well,
highly allied.
so it's not officially a territory, but the Tontatas territory is officially a territory, like their island, because the Tontatas are
Yeah,
a member of
because
the fleet.
yeah,
So it's
yeah,
like
they're a
it's like
member of the fleet, so
50-50.
you're right.
It's like 50-50.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what
Yeah.
you're saying. I see what
And
you're saying.
then Kairos considers himself a member of the not
So,
necessarily the fleet,
but
but he's like the leader of the Tontatas. So that
when
by
you seen
proxy
a
made him.
place, when you seen a place like because I don't even think Dressrosa was officially um considered a pirate thing under Riku Daldo. Because under Riku Daldo, he ain't gonna consider it a full pirate nation like it would Wano's gonna be.
or like
Wano's gonna put the
or like
flag
how
up there, so
Beehive
you
is,
coming in seeing that. Yeah, like Beehive is under the
or
world government seal is in Pirate Island.
also I completely forgot. He doesn't.
Full of
Luffy
lead.
doesn't say. Luffy does not say that it is that y'all are in my fleet. Luffy tells Momo that he's a member of the crew.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, yeah. It's not just. I completely forgot about that. That Momo is the last or the 10th member of the crew. I completely forgot about that shit. Cause he's just like fly that flag, and they'll know that if anyone messes with my crew, they're picking a fight with us. And then Momo breaks down
Mhm.
crying because he's just like, wait, I'm a straw hat.
I'm one of you. I'm one
Yeah,
of you. Of course, you're one of us. You already know that one of us thing.
yeah. And then I love how kid starts talking a bunch of shit, so they won't get out the safe way. And then there's like, nah, bro, we ain't going that way. It's cool. We'll take the long way. We're going to port. And Luffy's just like, the fuck y'all will. And then drives him off the edge of the waterfall.
Yeah, the waterfall fall off was amazing.
And then I think they like put him in the brig or whatever after that, don't they?
Yeah,
Okay, I
they put
know,
Luffy
I
in
know
a cage.
Nami beats the shit out of him.
Yeah, they put him in like a cage. That's when they're announcing all their bounty stuff.
Yeah, yeah, they put him in the fucking brig, and he's just like, I'm really sorry, and he's crying because Nami beat the shit out of him. But also, I feel like him being able to get the shit beat out of him by Nami is like just credence for the belief theory because I think he believes that Nami's supposed to be able to beat the shit out of him because Nami has no hockey whatsoever. So that's the only way that makes sense that she can hurt him is that if he believes that she can be hurt or if he believes she can hurt
Hurt
him,
him.
it makes perfect fucking sense.
I mean, it goes to a lot of things too. There's been a lot of times Luffy and stuff have been hit and stuff, even by like Garp and stuff like that. Ace and them too. Um, they wouldn't expect like what you remember the bar scenes and stuff. I think when Luffy came through barreling through the wall and Garp and I
Yeah,
think Garp and
yeah,
Ace
at
got
the
hit.
end of Nice lobby.
Yeah, and then they
Yeah.
was trying to say, oh, they should have just not been hurt, and Ace's Logie should have just went through and stuff like that, and because Luffy didn't have hockey, but it's like their guard was down, and also they wouldn't expect Luffy to do something like that at that moment.
Yeah. And then there's also when Jinbei's just like, it wasn't that big of a fall. I saved us. It's cool. We don't have to worry. And when Nami says don't coddle him, uh Jinbei gets like fucking terrified and he's just like, was that Supreme King Haki? Like he actually says that. Cause
Yeah,
and I don't think she has Supreme King Haki. I think it's just Luffy gives her some of his Haki. Cause we know that's a thing that people can do. People can give other things Haki. Can imbue their Haki in other things. So I think it's just Luffy 100% believing that she has that ability for her to do it.
I believe theory comes full circle. We can talk about that in a minute too, some more. But nah, your boy Sabo, definitely talk about your boy Sabo, man. But look, the thing with Emu, we see Emu's power displayed with the destruction of Leloucia. That's the man. Um, at this point, bro, I don't even know if that's the ancient weapon or not. I don't know if that's Pluton. I mean, Uranus or not. Um,
What, the thing that wiped out Leloucia?
yeah. So like, I
Yeah, it
know the
might
mother
be, it
plane would
might
be
not. There's
for it.
no telling.
I think, 'cause, yeah, it could be a replica, it could be stuff, but I ain't trying to get into that. But the thing with the 16, because in the manga there's 16 strikes, 16 strikes hitting Lucy in the manga. Um, the thing that I saw recently, I cannot remember who said it or who the video made the video I saw because I was on a frenzy of watching videos, but they compared it to Doflamingo and his one of his high attacks in the 16 heavenly bullets or holy bullets or whatever, something that he used, or 16 holy strings or something that he used in his fight with Luffy. Um, and that's crazy because signified a link between Doflamingo and Emu that I never thought about, but it makes sense. um, Going down the line of stuff that Doflamingo had access to, he had to have special access to. Because even thinking about first off in Impel Down, how him and Suru are always talking. Every time now Doflamingo's used as a narrative chain now. He's around when the story is taking a sinister turn, which it does in Egghead and it does in Wano. When the Reverie comes up and it's after he gets arrested, but he's talking narratively all the time. So, and another thing was how he is one of the few prisoners that we've seen in Impel Down has a cell by himself. So it's some kind of privilege there. So they're trying to say that he kind of getting kept alive for a reason because he could have easily got thrown to cage or something. He could have like murdered him. Like even in Ace, he was on one of the deepest floors and they went in the cell by themselves. But Doflamingo being a catalyst for like narratively things, I think if he actually does come back, it's gonna be a story in a whole different way. Because especially when you start thinking about like his alias stuff as in Heavenly Demon, and we starting to get into a lot of the demonic stuff up in One Piece with the Gorosei and Emu and the Holy Knights and all of them. It's yeah,
Yeah, the
I
implication that
feel
the
those.
Holy Knights are supposed to be angels,
Yep,
and then there's the Seraphim actually looking like angels.
yep.
Oh yeah, and we got the advent of the Seraphim,
hmm When they show up in Amazon Lily against Blackbeard,
and they
freaking
beat them all. Like everyone just gets instantly beaten by them for the most part.
for the
Also,
most part,
I
yeah,
don't get why Blackbeard even wants Boa's powers, because the only reason Boa's power works is because Boa has the powers.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like nobody on his crew
He might
can
have
use
a
that
plan
power.
for it, but he can also sell them too.
Yeah,
He
but what I'm
talked
saying
about
is
that.
there's nobody that ubiquitously attractive. Like that
So
even
you saying
makes
they couldn't
girl.
find someone?
No, well, like what I'm saying is like apparently Boa just has that aura about her because even a snake makes people be like, oh my gosh, she's so cute, she's so sweet. Remember when it catches Lilith and Usopp
hmm
and Frankie? So
hmm
so I don't think the power might work with like Nami. Like Nami might be able to use the power whenever like she's around people that find her attractive. But everybody but Luffy and Kobe immediately has fallen for Hancock. Like the moment they see her, like remember even Katarina Devon friggin' got caught by it. Like it worked on her too. So I don't think I just think it's kind of dumb for him to want that power just cause or not just him to want that power, but for anyone to want that power that's not her just cause there's like no one else that can use it to half the potential can.
Not saying they can't find somebody at some point in the story. If he did,
No,
but he
I
also
don't
mentioned that he sells them too.
I
That's a
don't
big thing
think they
too.
can
He
find
just sells
somebody
them.
with even a quarter of the potential to use the power of her though.
That's that's speculation at that point.
But I'm
Because
just
like
saying
Oda wouldn't write it at that point. Like if he wanted to inject someone else into it and do it,
well no,
write it.
I'm not
He
just saying
already
like it's looks though. I'm saying like the because it's not just looks because S Snake has it too. Like a snake can
Yeah.
do it too.
But that just shows, but I mean, it's a 50-50 because like it helps that, I mean, in the case of someone else using it, you've seen an entity using it, but in the same breath, the other entity using it is a version. So,
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
mean,
I
it
just think
takes
it's like
someone,
part of her
the thing
aura
about
that
it,
lets her use it.
it takes it takes someone with a lot of beauty to do it and just at least use it, even if it's not be capacity, saying at least use it. That's all you really want. And the notoriety of it being Boa Hancock's fruit will get it in Blackbeard's case. Then you put on the fact that just think about the women in One Piece, like Viola. Viola would be a good candidate. Rebecca, um,
Well, Viola
um,
can't take it, but I understand what you
she
mean.
can't. But I'm just going like types, so like personality types. Like, and these women like are like had the same kind of aura, not the same like Boa. No, Boa's like up there when you're talking about the way she portrays her beauty and stuff in the show. But like Viola was another one who portrayed hers in kind of a highlight feminine way. Then you had Rebecca, she was more warrior like, but she still had the feminine about her.
But
Then you got
also,
Nami, of course,
there's
and
the
stuff like
heavy
that. But like,
implication that the reason it works so well for her is like her looks, her
yeah,
like her aura, but also the other thing about it is that why it works so well for her is she has conquers hockey also, so it's like three different things that come together
I think
to
that's
make it
more
work
of a.
perfectly for her.
I think that's. I think that's more of an attest for her personally. That doesn't mean that somebody else who doesn't have conflict can
Well,
at
no,
least
remember
use
there was
it.
like the dude that tried to resist her looks when we first met her, but the Conqueror's hockey broke through it,
Makes it it's a
and then it
different, yeah,
worked on him immediately.
it's an additive. It's an
Yeah,
additive, not like saying like that's like saying that because what we all talk about how hockey increases what somebody's original power like Robin is. So of course,
yeah,
like it'd be the reverse if you talk about somebody using the fruit because all we need them to do is at least use the fruit. The requisite now that you have the is now you figure out if you can use it. Now you figured out, hey, learn some kind of hockey to make it a little bit better because it's guaranteed. Conquers. Conquers will make it 1,000 times better, but that same thing with everything. Conquers makes everything better in the grand scheme of things. And when you look at it throughout the show, it's like you find out, like in Katakuri's case, he's already freaking OP as heck. Add Conquers to the mix, and it's like, okay, Luffy, what you finna do? What you finna do, Luffy?
I think a good
And
way of like what I mean is like it feels like that fruit feels like Dr. Vegapunk's in the sense of it needs the perfect host to be able to be used really
but
well.
even less so. Even less so. I agree with you, but even less so because it's like the prerequisite to use the fruit is just be beautiful and be attractive. That's the prerequisite. The stuff added on to it is just makes it just the OP situation, not so much as the fruit itself. Like the fruit plus conquers hockey makes Boa Hancock, but just the fruit plus like armament or something like that might be a different person or someone in observation might use it differently. Like that's just my thought process with it. Like Law's fruit. Law's a surgeon, but Law's not
Yeah,
the
it only
only
works
surgeon
if you
in One Piece.
understand like
But we
that
firmly know
stuff.
Law's not the only doctor or only surgeon in One Piece. 'Cause he was taught by some. So there's other surgeons in One Piece that could have also used the OP no different.
Yeah.
That's the core of it. Is what I'm thinking about. Because Law is same when talking about Vegapunk's fruit. Is that a specific person has to have some sort of knowledge or skill set in order to
Yeah,
use it,
a
which is the
genius
same
level
thing.
intellect would have to be the person that got the
Genius
fruit,
level
or you
insect.
just
Yep,
die.
a genius level. Yeah, well, not just die, but you wouldn't in what it needs to be do because
Well, no,
it'd be a
you would
focus point.
eventually die if you're just a normal person that ate the fruit.
Well, the head would get too big and you wouldn't be able to sustain it. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Vegapunk
you'd
cut it
break your
off,
neck.
found a way to cut it
Like
off.
you'd end up dying. But
Yeah,
like
Vegapunk
he's
found a way
like
to
one
cut
of
it
the
off.
only people that can actually use the fruit, not even to
I'm
his
with
full potential. But like if you actually ate the fruit, you'd basically just have to sit in a room all
you.
day
Yeah,
and
I'm
never
with you.
fucking
So
leave.
you got the height of it, which would be Vegapunk's Nomi
Yeah,
Nomi
yeah, I
Nomi.
would put Vegapunks at the end of the
Then Law
spectrum where he's one of the only ones, and I would put Laws.
after
Uh,
that, at least.
I would put
At least after that.
I would put hand-cocked fruit in between that and Opie no Mi, just because.
You will put it after Opie Opie?
Yeah, because I feel like there's more surgeons than there are women that are that
I can
beautiful.
see it. I can see it because like beauty is a prerequisite to have, and you can't just make someone beauty unless you
Yeah, well,
devolve.
like the big reason
But
I'm looking at it is like we can probably name 23 beautiful women in One Piece, right? Like
not even
I
that.
get
You can
like
teach surgeon. You can't teach beautiful.
well, yeah, there's that, but I was gonna say like we've seen
That's
way
everything.
more than 23 doctors,
I
high
mean
level
that.
doctors.
I mean the fact that you can teach surgeon can't teach beautiful is everything. You
Yeah,
don't need
yeah,
to.
that's
You
also
need
like
anything else.
that's a
You don't need
even
any
better way
other
to put
reason to
it.
put it.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't need any other reason to put it behind or put Lost Fruit, the Opie Opie after it other than that.
Also, you
But
can
I
get
agree.
the ability to be a surgeon after you eat the fruit. You don't need it before.
But yeah,
Is another thing.
yeah,
Like that's where I would scale it. But like 100% Vegapunks is the one like you have to be like Isaac Newton level intelligence or like you know what I
want
mean.
to.
Like you have to have like 150 plus IQ to get any use out of Vegapunk's fruit. Like otherwise it's completely useless. Because Isaac Newton has an
It'll
estimated
be
IQ of
use,
like 185 or
it'll
some
be
shit.
it'll be useful up to a point, and then it becomes a hindrance.
Now I feel like a normal person is like 5 minutes into having the fruit. It
Maybe
instantly becomes a hindrance. Because now you can never
maybe
forget anything that
because
you've ever seen or read.
there's no because we don't know how because we don't know where Vegapunk's level of intelligence was at each level of growth because we
Well, no,
saw
it
him at
doesn't
such
make
a
you
low
smarter.
point.
We know it. The fruit
I
doesn't make
know,
you
but I'm
smarter.
saying we don't know at what point did his head become a point to where he himself I mean, his genetic makeup, of course, will make it different. And of course, a regular person's genetic makeup will make him different as well, too. But like, at what point did his head get to the point where his head was a giant? Because we always saw him at the age young.
Well,
Is
so
what I'm saying.
20 uh 20 years ago, it was massive. It wasn't like the size it is now massive, but it was like when he went to O'Hara. Remember his head was big as fuck.
Yeah, and it wasn't cut yet then.
Yeah.
But like I'm saying,
And
like we don't
so
know at
in
what
a 20
point
year, but I'm saying
he
like
was
in
still
20
old.
years, it got like in a 20-year gap, it went from being really fucking big to holy fucking shit big.
Yeah, I mean, I know
So,
that, and that's what I agree with that. But like when you talk about somebody first having the fruit, at what point do they get it? Because it's all about focus. And you're right, and not being a genius level means you have the capacity to figure some stuff out in order and understand something. Because it doesn't change your understanding or make you a genius or anything. It just makes it to where you pretty
the
much treat
only
your
reason
brain
I'm
like
saying
a
like you
filing
need a
cabinet.
genius level intelligence is because it
Yeah,
gets to a certain point where you just die from moving your head.
yeah, but like it also it's based on what you put in. It's not just you just know stuff because you can recycle stuff you already know. It's new stuff you put in. So it's focus based. So if somebody who is smarter enough, I mean, I'm saying I agree with you. They'll die. I'm not saying they'll live a long time and make the best use of it. They're not gonna make the best use of it at all. But I would at least give the average person could make a little use out, just a little bit before they die. That's all I'm saying. Like just not the way that Vegapunk's doing it to this capacity, to this level, to this magnitude, but just like a stupid little bit. Like
Like
remembering that you left, like remembering what being able to just pull a memory from anywhere, like out of nowhere, without having to really think about it, would be a decent enough use if somebody
like
could
a
put it
good
together. But
explanation of what the normal person would be like if they did it is the show Suits.
no.
So it's a show about lawyers, but the main character is he has a eidetic memory or whatever it is. It's anytime he sees something, he remembers it forever. And but the thing is that like he's also super smart. It's not just remembering stuff, but like he also has a very high IQ. So if you just imagine him but dumb,
But
that's
that's not an
how it
average
would work.
person though.
for the average, just
Like
like
it's already not an average person though.
what?
You're already comparing a character that has a high IQ that's written to have a high IQ. That's already
Yeah.
not a character like an average character. Like I can't imagine that first off because I haven't seen what you're talking about. But secondly, like you're giving me a material that already written of a guy that has a high IQ and telling me to take that out
Well,
and
just
be
imagine
able
that
to
he got
base
hit
that
with a baseball
differently.
bat in the back of the head.
But why don't we just use somebody that's already got hit with a baseball bat in the back of the head and go from there?
Because they
Like
won't
why
have
go
an
that
eidetic
extra way?
memory. Because that's basically what the devil fruit gives you. It's just a better version of eidetic memory. I think is how you say that
Yeah,
word.
but the thing is, but okay, but that still doesn't change like your genius level or anything because like you can have an eidetic memory but still be dumb because that's what the devil fruit
Yeah.
does for you. It
Yeah,
gives you
yeah,
eidetic
yeah,
memory, still dumb. So
yeah.
like Dumber and Dumber and the Three Stooges gets the know me, and yeah, no, they would fill it up with new ways to hurt each other, and then they die from the stuff in their head. But let's say somebody like Kevin from Ben 10 gets it. I would expect him to at least have some kind of thought knowledge and process and damage control, figure out a way to counteract it before he dies or at least die trying.
Or at least become like the greatest mechanic of all time
And that's what I'm saying.
for at least a couple of days.
That's what
But
I'm
yeah,
saying before he dies.
but yeah, that's just my thing. It's like it's one of those things that a very specific person needs it, or you die, unfortunately, or the person that eats it dies.
Only a special person can make the perfect use out of it. But talking about Vegapunk some more because Vegapunk is actually the dude who kind of catalyzed a lot of stuff. We talk about the belief theory and a lot of the foundations for the devil fruits, in which he's going to end up telling once we get to Egghead. But Vegapunk, he was one of the only characters in One Piece who wasn't really at it.
Hold up, you cut out there. That wasn't what?
He's one of the only few characters. Hold on, can you hear me?
Yeah.
He was one of the few characters in One Piece that was built up without having to be silhouetted.
One of the few characters that was what without having to be silhouetted?
He built up like his
Oh,
popularity and stuff in the show was built up, and we never had a silhouette like we had of mostly other characters that were built up, like Loki, Big Mom, Kaido. All of them had silhouettes and stuff,
I see what you mean.
but Vegapunk never really had a silhouette. It's just a side little thing that I thought
Well,
about
like his
earlier.
thing was like we just saw some of the shit that he did constantly.
Yeah, yeah, it was
And
like, hey, this guy did this, and hey, who did this? Vegapunk. Who did this? Vegapunk.
so we are officially at Egghead now though with
Yep.
that cuz like the hitting on the Sabo thing because we get the actual full breakdown like
Yeah.
in the middle of
After
Egghead.
this,
Yeah.
yeah,
So we get the gender swap stuff from probably Dot Q's power. I get, or at least that's the thing that makes the most sense. That is Dot Q's power when they go after Law for the OP no Mi, and
yeah,
that's one that makes
of
sense.
course.
The OP no Mi is one of the most important devil fruits because all you need to do is force a doctor to do eternal use surgery on you.
And that's it. That's all they got to
Yeah,
do.
and then it's like worth
And then
infinite money because since that person dies, you just if you know the like if you leave a devil fruit like a fruit right there right after dude finishes the operation, boom, you get a walk away sort of thing. And you like you're eternally youthful and you fucking still have the devil fruit to sell because what's it called, I think he even talks about it if I remember correctly, right? Doesn't he like talk about like what we should do is just get someone and do the surgery on me and then sell the fruit, I think is what Blackbeard says if I remember correctly, where they're talking about
I,
like what are we gonna do with the OP no Mi.
yeah,
I
no,
think
you're
is what
right.
he says. I think um
Yeah, he tells him I could just have someone do the surgery on me and sell it.
Yeah, because I think he says and. I don't think he says or.
Yeah,
But also we
I
see
think he does,
like
man. Too.
a big thing here is what's it called? The either either the Blackbeard pirates aren't that strong. It's just they have really good devil fruits,
I mean, I think
or
Blackbeard is a top tier strategist at this point.
or or Beppo is just a god. Like the, cause
I think it's, I think yeah, I think with the Beppo it's just a God thing. But you
Beppo
got
beats all of them. Just
in that situation, yeah, that
yeah,
situation, yeah, 100%. Because
and
Beppo
then
was a factor that
and
even
then he
Blackbeard.
swims
Because you
away
remember
too.
how he reacted.
Yeah,
You
he was
remember
like,
how
"What? So
Blackbeard
long? What the
reacted.
fuck?"
He he didn't take into account that Sulong was going to be a part of that mix. Because
Yeah.
Blackbeard's the top tier strategist. He would have planned for that
And then
if
there's
he
like
was
the
going to go for this
argument that he got hit with the Shock Ville and a Tremor Crush or whatever. Not Tremor Crush.
Archvile.
Was
Yeah,
it Shock Ville? And there's another thing that he got hit with. I don't remember. But
the K room stuff and
it might be. I just can't remember which one it was. He hits him with two things. But you gotta like Law's recovering from fucking
Big Mom,
the Big Mom fight.
Ido,
Yeah.
and still
Like
some
he doesn't
Ido
even
too.
use he can't even use his strongest attack. Because if you remember, his strongest attack is the yellow one. He hits him with the blue one. The one that like he stabs Big Mom like all the way through the earth.
Yeah,
Like that goes all the way up under the water. Down like goes down like
it makes that
20
big ass
miles.
crater.
Yeah. And then it like forces Big Mom to go down it while she's getting hit with what's it called? What's it called? Something punk. I forgot the
Down
name
pump,
of it. Huh?
down pump.
That's the name of the laser. I don't.
Hmm.
Yeah, like and she just so he doesn't even doesn't look like he has enough in his like stamina or hockey to be able to pull that one off.
I see what you're saying.
So like the fact that like he got hit with Shock Ville and then freaking Beppo just collapse almost everybody just like immediately, just like deuces. And then there's
Yeah, I
Charlotte's
don't think he
trying to
planned
get
for
back to
Beppo at all
Sanji. Yeah, yeah. How do you plan for Beppo? To be fair, because
at
nobody's
that
ever
point
heard
because
of.
he can't.
Yeah, nobody's ever heard of that ability. To for a.
First, no one knows about, no one's heard of Mink being able to transfer.
Yeah, without the moon, nobody's ever heard of it before. And it's and we see like one special thing about Beppo is that he's like how to describe it. He's an actual fighter, if that makes sense. Like the other ones, like or like sword fighters and stuff like that. Like how Carrot was. Like when Carrot goes so long, it just makes what she is so much better. And she's just a pure like fighter, not like a swordsman or anything like that. Just a pure on fighter, and just gets better. That's not the correct word I'm looking for. But Beppo's combat skills are probably as good, if not better, than most of the other Minxes. Because we've seen like Beppo fight
Hmm.
like
Hmm. No, I
he's
100% agree with
yeah,
that.
yeah, like we
I think
so when
shit,
he goes
it's
solo
the best,
and he just
bro.
fights
The
them.
best minks, cause like what? It's the best minks go not in the order right now, but what? Cat Viper, Dogstorm, Carrot, Beppo.
And Beppo's
Maybe
probably better than Carrot because Carrot's still pretty young. Well, to be fair, Beppo's really young too. So,
I agree with that.
because I think it's
But
safe to assume that Beppo is a better fighter than Pedro was. And the reason I
yeah,
say I
I would
think
say
it's
that.
safe to assume that is because Zeppo was supposed to be a better fighter than Pedro because Pedro I'm pretty sure Pedro said
I would even go
Zeppo
so
was a
far,
better fighter. So it would make sense that the little brother of the better fighter would become the better fighter too. Just cause that's
and
how
I would even say
things tend to
so
be.
that the training that Carrot talked about, the training that you had to go through in order to be able to control just control Sulong for him.
Yeah.
And we never got a chance to see Pedro and Sulong, but seeing that in Beppo kind of
Also,
just
there's a chance
automatically
that
gives us
he.
that arraignment.
I'm gonna assume
But
that Pedro can't use Su Long because he's too old.
yeah, because of what Big Mom did to him and
Yeah,
stuff.
because he's 76. It's like he's physically 76.
And then on top of that, um, I think the where he would get Beppo at is tactician. Like I think he's probably a better
Yeah.
tactician.
But also, Beppo doesn't use any lightning when he folds everybody. He just goes pure, just how good he is at fighting. He just
Beat you up
pure.
style.
Yeah. So, like, I wonder if he just can't use lightning or what. But nah, he straight up folds the Blackbeard crew and then runs away. Cause, like, you can't
Yep.
blame him for, like, folding them up. Like, you can't
Made
blame
Van
me for
Auger have to.
mantra treating them and then run the fuck
Made Van
away.
Auger get up out of there.
No, remember, he beat the shit out of Van Auger.
Yeah, but I remember that rock when he threw that rock and then Van Auger got up out of there and tried to come back.
Yeah,
That's
and
why I
then
was
he catches him and he's just like, oh, no, 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 no. And it throws
oh no
him,
no no
punches
no.
him into the wall. And then we see Egghead, like the actual island, is absolutely butt fucking insane.
Like
Cause
nothing we've ever seen in this show before.
and it's apparently like still in the past compared to how it used to be.
To how now compared to the island in the past in the
Yeah,
Void
to the
Century.
ancient kingdom.
Apparently it was way more advanced than Egghead. And
Also,
that's the part about when you think about the Void Century and the Advanced Kingdom 4 is like what in the heck took y'all out? Like y'all was more advanced than that. Like what took y'all out? Because ain't nothing just taking y'all out like that if y'all was more advanced than Egghead. Because we see the fight Egghead.
yeah, like what the fuck, dog? And then the other thing is the what's it called? The interesting thing of him of Vegapunk like splitting his personality between or six clones. That's interesting. While keeping his own personality intact, like completely intact.
The way he
That's
explained it
interesting
in the
idea.
version, the way he explained it in the anime that I was seeing was like for situations because I didn't understand it at first either, and I had to rewatch it here to understand it because it was like you said for when it's a situation that violence is needed, I have Atlas. Situation that evil is needed,
Yeah.
goddamn
And
situation
then
would arise, but a nigga like him would think about every
yeah.
situation possible.
York just exists to do the extra bodily functions that the other ones don't want to do. Like
Yeah,
she's their mouth and their ability to go to the bathroom. And then
yeah.
what's it called? Pythagoras is the number runner, for lack of a better term. Shaka's the tactician, and Edison is the idea guy, which is funny, cause Edison made the light bulb, and so Edison's constantly, I just got an idea for a new invention. Like he constantly has light bulb moments, which
Hmm.
is just cracks me up that
Eureka
that's
moments.
yeah. So it's just funny that that's how they chose to do it, or he chose to do it. And then also, like we learned that Vegapunk and Dragon are good friends. Like they've been friends for
Great
20
friends.
something years.
They've been friends a very long time, and that's a bar because you talk about Dragon being the leader of the revolutionary. And you talk about Vegapunk, and he's pretty much going down his rebel phase right now. You know where his influence came from,
Yeah, you know exactly where that shit came from, dog.
and we see. I know Vegapunk, in of itself, it makes a lot of sense because like it talks about going back to one of the famous Spider-Man lines. Always, power comes with great responsibility, which I don't even think originated there. I think it was somewhere else, but Um, you talk about all the stuff that Vegapunk went through, and we're gonna see that he goes through, and it's almost like he himself calls himself a genius and he knows that he can't call himself a genius by understanding the stuff he understands. And it's a long tunnel when it comes down to talking about Vegapunk and his ambitions and stuff. Because I remember the whole things about like leading the conversations leading up to right before it was revealed that the plot of Egghead was gonna be Vegapunk gonna be a victim. Everyone's talking about how he was evil, trap straw hat stuff, and then it's like, no,
Also, another thing, why is it Sanji using his blue flames in Egghead?
I don't think he has yet.
Yeah, that's what, like, he just unlocked the ability to use blue flames because he just came to terms with the fact that he's not a mindless, soulless killing machine like his dad wanted him to be. And so he realized that he can just use that power to help his friends instead of using it to be evil. So he's just like, so my flames can be blue now because blue flames are way hotter than regular flames. But he just doesn't really use it. And it's just funny. I guess it's because they didn't want him to kill the Seraphim, maybe. They're just like, no, the
That's
Seraphim
it.
can't die. But we also meet the Seraphim, which are based off the, not the, it's not the original uh Shishibukai, is it? Because what's his name? I
Yeah,
could
it
have
is.
sworn, the Spinous, not Spinous, the dude that Ace beat was before Crocodile, or not Crocodile. I thought he was before what's it called? I thought he was the original, cause Crocodile takes his spot.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I think
You
it
know what I
might be
mean?
on the popular ones,
Or no, no,
the
no, my
ones
bad.
Vegapunk probably
Crocodile
familiar
takes
with.
Jinbei's spot. Sorry, Crocodile takes Jinbei's spot, if I remember correctly.
I think it goes for the seven. It goes I get because that's true. Hanafuda was uh
Let's
that's
see real
crazy.
quick. Uh, Trying to see like the original ones, cause everything is trying to put not the original ones. Okay, yeah, I thought Hanafuda was before Kuma Hancock. Yeah, so yeah, Crocodile would have replaced Hanafuda. So I wonder why they didn't use Hanafuda, or was it just like that's something that he added later, and so that's why there's not a clone of Hanafuda. That makes sense to me, if that's why he did it like that.
Yeah, it
But
would
they're
make
also
sense.
like their
Also,
DNA
Hanafuda,
spliced with fucking
you
Lunarians.
realize Hanafuda is the only one that's actually canonically dead.
I didn't realize Ace killed him.
Ace wasn't the one that killed him.
Who killed him? Kaido?
It was like a rogue bandit group on his way home or something. The way I heard about it, or maybe something else to do with it too. That he's not like actually alive, so he couldn't really actually get it. Never really got captured or never had the opportunity to get his DNA after the fact.
That
Like
could be why.
maybe he got the DNAs after the fact. Like not as they became warlords, but after they were already. Naruto was already not a part of that one. Decided the protocol to get their DNA. It's part. It could be.
Oh, I didn't know that. Um, you want to know something interesting about him?
Well,
He is Ulti and Page One's dad.
oh, I knew that.
I didn't know
Recently
that.
knew that. Yeah, he's also
Oh
the
no.
page was
So
bad. He's also the dude
okay.
who's reason who got. He's also the reason that Kaido got all those zones because that was Hanafuda's hobby was
Yeah,
collecting
he like.
mythical zones.
He's replaced by Kuma. He was replaced by. So apparently he died trying to get back to Wano because he was trying to
Hmm.
get back to page one and Ulti. And then yeah, that's interesting.
I know you're
But yeah,
talking about
so
the
that's
Seraphim and stuff.
Kuma replaced. Okay.
Um, it's still interesting how to think about Bonnie, in her case with how she pretty much you see her and Kuma's relationship pretty much just thrown at you so early in the anime at least. I know they didn't do it that much. I mean, not in the manga, excuse me. They didn't do it that much in the manga, but up in the anime, they keep throwing Bonnie and Kuma's relationship at you, and they just, I mean, anyone who reads the manga knows that Kuma's backstory is gonna be that, and
Yeah, it sucks that they stopped like 3 episodes before Kuma's backstory.
it's okay,
Because it would have
it's
been,
okay.
you know what I mean? Like
It's
it's like 2 chapters later is Kuma's backstory
I want,
from where the show
I want,
stopped.
I want, I want everything to be pristine for Kuma's backstory. So they took a good time, and I don't think it's just 3 chapters. I think it's a little bit because you got Kizaru and Luffy before uh Puma's backstory. It's got to happen, and they got to get out of there. Still, got to get ready to head out because that's their next little thing they're gonna do. But I think it's about 4 or 5, about 4 or 5 chapters. It'll be about 3 episodes, 3 or 4 episodes before they start talking about it. Because you remember also, because you know what triggers Kuma's backstory is Bonnie stabbing Saturn.
I thought what triggered the
That's
backstory was her falling into the thing on accident.
no, where no, because they're not gonna show us that until she comes back out, and then when she comes back out is when she stabs Saturn because she has that mix up with Saturn, or not that mix up. She has that emotional moment of realizing Saturn, and then she jumps up and stabs him, and then that's when it goes and triggers the backstory because then Kuma shows up after the backstory and punches Saturn.
Then, trying to see what chapter it is that we get the backstory.
Like 10, I don't know, 60 something, maybe. Oh,
I
yeah.
don't think it's 60 something because the uh the fight with Rob Lucci is like 1070.
1095.
So oh, it is 1095. Okay.
That's 1095, 1096, somewhere around there.
Yeah, it's 1095. But yeah, and then we get all these interesting little tidbits of each of the what's it called? Each of the satellites. And also it makes sense to make the satellites because like the satellites make it to where he doesn't die if like the satellites can always bring him back.
Yep.
Which is like the
They still
implication
haven't
of what they're trying to
constituted.
do right now. Like
They
that's the
still really
implication
haven't
of it.
constituted what death qualifies for him, really at all. But we'll get
Yeah,
into that
because he's
later.
probably not like his brain's probably still alive. Because
Yeah,
something tells me that they weren't able to destroy the actual record part of Punk Records. Because,
yep.
like,
It's
I'm
eternal.
guessing it's close to invincible. Like the egg part where his brain is. Because why wouldn't it be? Sort of thing. Just like it doesn't make sense that he wouldn't make it that. You know what I mean? Like, I would imagine that he would make it insanely difficult to get. But we learned that the world government, after sorry, I had to stretch my life for a second. After Vegapunk, because he started to pick up Clover's research for looking up other stuff to make limitless energy sources. And so he's been following Clover's footsteps, and Clover's footsteps are the thing that got O'Hara obliterated in the first place.
Hmm. He's going even deeper and trying to figure out, uncover the ancient.
And then we see that Vegapunk was good friends with Clover, and he's devastated by the loss of O'Hara. But then we also learn that Saul snuck out with all the text of O'Hara to make sure that it lived on, which is dope that all of O'Hara's books still survived. We meet Emeth, the giant fuck off golem dude that like everything Vegapunk does is based off of, or at least all his robots are. And then we get the actual Vegapunk where he says the famous line, "I Quasar help." I'm sorry, bro. Don't. That's a terrible pun. Don't. Don't be doing
Mhm.
that. That's not a good pun. Like, there's a difference between good puns and bad puns, and that one's fucking atrocious. And
What are you talking
then,
about?
like, Dead Antenna has to be OP, dude.
It has to be.
Like, he has to be, like, digitally alive. Like, I don't believe that he's not digitally alive. And I love how Luffy's just like, well, if you cut your head, doesn't that mean you're dumb now? Because he doesn't understand what it means. Also, why wouldn't it's weird that Vegapunk wouldn't have planned ahead, being as smart as he is. He wouldn't have come up with the concept that one of his satellites could betray him. Also,
That's true.
like, also, does it ever explain how York doesn't upload the mess like the memories of her
How she
betraying him?
does.
I don't remember it explaining that. Because
See
she
how
would
she
have to
does.
delete. Like, remember, at the end of every day, they upload their memories. That way, Vegapunk can
Yeah.
learn everything they learned. But some of
Hmm.
the CP9 agents have been there for like 2 months.
I think Vegapunk tinkered with some of them during that last flashback. The last egghead like flashback of Vegapunk when they say what happened in the little what was it? It was like a little time frame. I remember the chapter being like a time frame title, and they kind of found out about everything, did like a emergency wipe, and then wiped their own memory, so they didn't they did it, and then went forward. So they
No,
caught
just say,
York
wouldn't
after.
you find it like weird if you were Vegapunk that York's memories weren't complete for the day? Like the day's memories weren't complete?
Yeah, they say how they found it out. They cleaned up. It's a chapter. I can't think of the
But I'm just saying,
chapter's
like
name.
2 months of it, I feel like I like I feel like it's
They
noticeable.
explain they explain all of that. Like the way even way you're talking right now, I think in this chapter they talk the exact same way. Like it was some kind of little fallacy. Like I think he was like, "Oh, too caught up in my own research thing."
So it's just like one of those
I just
things
can't
that it
remember.
made me.
I just can't remember the exact chapter as I pull it up. to go read it. But it's literally the exact same thing you're talking about right now.
And I love how Bonnie just tries to kill him with the lightsaber. And the reason that he considers the lightsaber a failure is because it attracts evil bugs, like giant fuck off bugs. And then Luffy's
Yeah,
happy because he finds a stag beetle. Because Luffy likes beetles because him and his brothers used to make beetles fight each other. I love that Chopper's just like, forget about the stag beetle. We're concerned about her passing out. And he's just like, I got stag beetle. he's like patting, he's poking Bonnie on the face, and he's just like, hey Bonnie, I got stag beetle. And that shit just cracked me up when it happened. He's like, hey, check it out. And then I love that he's just like, it's a failure because it attracts bugs. And he's just like, I had a failure to copy Kaido's devil fruit powers. Just like, what you
all because
mean?
of paint.
My buddy ate it. He has the exact same powers, exact same. He's just younger. And then Vegapoint's just like, yeah, but is it blue? That's why it's a failure. And she's like, dude, it's a perfect replica in everything but color. Like, why are you sad about that?
It's proficiency.
Like, and that junk just cracks me up. Just didn't have the same qualities. He looks exactly like Kaido. That's a success. Well, also, to be fair, to be fair to Vegapunk, we don't know if Momo can go hybrid form. To be fair to Momo. Or, to be fair to Vegapunk, not Momo. We don't know if he can be like hybrid form, like half dragon, half man form.
Yeah, we don't know that yet.
And we also learned that Imith attacked Mary Joie 200 years ago. And that's how he ended up in Egghead.
Shells.
And then, after we have all that stuff, we get Bonnie just trying to assassinate Vegapunk for the next, like, however many episodes.
That's pretty much an
For
ongoing thing
turning her
until
dad
someone comes back.
into a pacifista. And then we get CP0 showing up, Rob Lucci, Kaku, and I
Stussy.
wanna her name should be Stussy. Stussy sounds weird.
Don't disagree with you, but I ain't make it.
It sounds so weird. I'm just like, no, stop saying her name like that. Please stop it. Stop it. Get some help. Like, and then the big thing is also Kuma that they successfully rescued for some reason is forcing his way back to Mary Joie, and we don't know the exact reason why he's trying to, like, we know now because we're caught up to like we've read all of Egghead, but like at the moment you don't know what the reason is. But he's just trying to get back to Mary Joie. And I love how they're just like, no, sorry, Cyberpole, y'all can leave. Just, just drop the Seraphims off. We'll take it from here. Goodbye. And they're just like, no, we come in here. And then in the fight, friggin', what's it called? Lucci gets destroyed by Luffy. Like, cause last time they fought, it was, it was pretty close. Luffy barely
This
won.
time though,
This time though, he
close,
legitimately one-shots him.
close, close.
He he just 100% won. Like the first time Luffy hits him, like actually hits him, and it's not just him like playing around, rolling around, acting dumb, drilling himself into a hole in the ground and stuff like that. He punches him in the stomach so hard that it immediately just knocks him out.
Yep. So my fist went through his whole gut like on some Dragon Ball stuff back in the
Yeah,
G.
'cause he like made his stomach turn into rubber while he hit him with the
OG
advanced
Dragon Ball
armor.
stuff
Yeah.
when fists used to go through they fists used to hit him so hard it used to
He
go through
punched
their
him
back.
like 17 punching Piccolo. Like,
Yeah, yeah, you know it.
because
That's
Piccolo's body's
man.
stretchy, so like when he does it,
But the thing about it, the way Luffy does it, it's gonna reverb. It's the part that's even crazy. It's the I'm pretty sure the punch in where it hurts, but that reverb is gonna be even crazier.
yeah, especially when you stop being rubber.
Yep.
And we see like how fast, like how strong, much stronger you become being awakened, especially as a Zoan. Like as a Zoan, like all your physical abilities just are multiplied, but it doesn't fucking matter for Lucci. And then I love how Vegapunk's freaking out. He's just like, it's the warrior liberation that brings smiles to all people. Nika, the sun god. Like all that stuff. And people shouldn't have heard of it. But like, there's like the one thing where Luffy's just joking around, and they have the one hockey clash. That's not even really a hockey clash. That sends them both flying backwards. And then Luffy has the whole little bit where he shoots rocks at him and everything. And then he finally just says, "Screw it, gum gum." What's he called? Dawn gun. Is that what he called it?
Yep. Yep.
And just instantly, like instantly, puts him to sleep, like almost immediately. Like, oh yeah, I forgot
I mean,
he did the
even the
special
mole
mole
gun,
gun.
the mole
Yeah,
gun, yeah, the mole gun too. Even the almost put him to sleep.
yeah, yeah. It made his eyes go white. Like,
Yep.
and then Mario gets stabbed in the stomach. I think it is the stomach.
I think that was before the fight, but um,
Like Lucci
Sentomaru,
stabs him.
yeah, Sentomaru is like, I ain't gonna lie, seeing him again was a shocker. He was like one of the dudes I did not expect to see again.
But it's crazy, like how much stronger fucking Luffy is. Like it's not than Luigi. Like it's not even friggin'. It's so one-sided. He just hits him in the stomach that one time. He puts those glasses on. Dawn Rocket, that's what he calls it. Dawn Rocket. He put those glasses on though. He pulls the goggles out of his hair. Just one time for the one time. And he's just like, how'd he get so powerful? And then one thing that's funny is when Jinbei is just like, thank you, you're much nicer than the real Hancock. And then S Snake is just like, I'm only following orders, nothing more, and then does the Hancock pose.
Yep.
And you see, like, they're supposed to just be, like, almost perfect copies of the host. But, and then we get the what's it called stuff with, where Kaku and Zoro get their little rematch. And Kaku can't do shit. And Zoro's not even using armament hockey for real.
No, not at all.
Like he hasn't
Not even he didn't even
done
went
anything.
comps on him.
Yeah, he's not even using any. I don't think he's using any hockey, and he's just deflecting everything Kaku
And the
tries to
whole
do.
thing about it, this arc showing just how outclassed the old Lucci and them are against the new Straw Hat. Because before they was like a catalyst for them. Because this whole thing now is to show how strong they are. That's why Kizaru's here. I ain't gonna lie, I would have picked a great stage to bring Kizaru on.
And then we got the Bonnie trying to assassinate and finding all of his memories. And we see like a little bit more of Bonnie's power. The next One Piece episode that we have, gonna spend most of the time talking about how Bonnie's one of the most clever metaphors Oda's ever written. We just don't get to that moment yet because the anime's not there yet, but it's so good. Like the metaphor's so good that he makes. So good. 10 out of 10. Would recommend. And then we see the memories, and we get the little bit of backstory with Kuma. Just a little bit where he's like explaining to Kuma, since you can remove stuff, you should be able to remove metaphysical things, since it's just electric signals from the brain. So you should be able to remove memories or what's it called? Memories or ideas from people and transfer them to others. And Vegapunk thinks the whole thing is just straight pain, but Bonnie recognizes what it is, that it's actually just his memories. Just because she recognizes her dad's powers. And then she touches it. And then we get the Brook and Zoro versus Kaku and Lucci. And Kaku can't do any fucking thing at all. Like, and Kaku's awakened. And Kaku's using armament hockey the entire fight. And Zoro's just like, dude, like, this don't mean shit. Like, 0%. And then we get Stussy. I want to know what her, her power is. Like, what devil fruit it is.
If it's eating the devil fruit,
Yeah, or if it's even a devil fruit, because she's a clone of Weevil's mom.
and she could
And
actually have some kind of modifications or something.
yeah, it could just be actual modifications. Like how the because it's the her existing is what what's it called, it's based off of. Um she's based off the ideas that went to make Sanji and his siblings. Like she's the first successful Mads experiment or cloning experiment. And she has like the ability to put people to sleep and stuff. Her powers are just real cool because demon wings are dope, and so I want to know what that means. And also, we see Zoro's an absolute fucking idiot because he's just like, man, I just noticed it, but these little kids look kind of like King. And you're just like, oh, don't
And they
worry about
might
it.
be
It's a
like,
high
no,
stress situation. It's understandable to not understand, to not realize that. It's like, yeah, King had dark skin, white hair, flame on their back, and black wings. And they're all just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? How'd you not notice that? That cracked me up so much when they said that. It's like, what the hell's wrong with you, dog? And then we see Weevil showing up to save his dad's stuff, which is interesting because the entire thing, the Buckingham, Stussy Buckingham implies that they're gonna raise it to the ground, but no, doesn't raise it to the. I remember the first time reading that because the entire time we heard about Weevil was that he was coming to destroy everything to get his money. So it's just interesting that that's how it ended up going. And then we see one of the five elders, Jay Garcia Saturn, show up with Borsellino because he wants to be there to see the death of Vegapunk.
Mussolini.
And we see like how OP the pacifistas are here. Like you get to see a little bit of what Kuma would be like if he was at full power. He like one pacifista instantly beats every member of CP0. That's not the two named ones that we saw. Just instantly beats them all. Like just. And then we learn
I,
about the authority chip stuff, which feels like a design flaw. I'm gonna be honest. Where you can't cancel out somebody with the same authority. I feel like Vegapunk Stella should have the highest, like the ability to be like, yep, don't listen to this fucktard. Or Shaka. I feel like Shaka, since Shaka's supposed to be the one that's in charge of all the satellites, I feel like Shaka should have had the highest authority chip out of everyone but Stella.
it should have had an hierarchy too.
Yeah, like I feel like they should have had, which it, like, I don't want to call it a plot hole, but it's like something that, like, I don't see how a super genius didn't think about that.
I mean, I could think of a lot of things why he didn't think about that. Like he probably didn't expect nothing to actually want to turn on. which is fair. I mean, I think that's fair. Like I wouldn't expect it anyone in turn. Not the one that was designed was to just eat their life away and not have any ambition at all. To actually have ambition. That's yeah, that's a little crazy. I wouldn't expect that either. But Vegapunk's far from perfect, which we've seen that all the time.
Also, we learned that the world government is trying to blame the death of what's it called, on Straw Hat Luffy,
Yep.
trying to be like, nope, he Straw Hat did it. It's all his fault. And then we see I like how he's talking about Zoro's talking shit to S Hawk. It's just like, nah, you feel fear. You're not the same person. Because he noticed he feels like Mihawk, and I love that. It's just like, nah, you show fear. You're not the same guy. You're too
Might be a
different.
little more alive than him, a little more human than he is.
Which is a crazy implication because like the what's it called that's gone like super viral lately is the theory that Mihawk is Emu's son, which I'm gonna be honest, I think that's a stupid fucking theory.
I hadn't seen that one.
I've been
I
seeing
hadn't
it
seen that one at all.
everywhere, like the past couple of weeks, past
I
two
saw they
weeks.
might be like in the family, but I didn't think that would be like. But I saw Rayleigh's. That's the recent one I saw.
I can see that one. That makes sense. And then we get the dun 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 betrayal. We all know it's York. York ruins everything, makes it possible for all the bad stuff that's happening to happen. Then we get the part of this part since we can't get to the Kuma backstory until that gets animated. It's the like the Shanks moment. That moment was so lit. We learned the truth about Shanks' crew, or not crew, but fleet. They're all weaklings that just raised his flag so they won't get attacked. And also, what's it called? We didn't know it until now. The kid that wants to join his crew, that's Gabon's son. Did you notice that, Dragon?
I did not actually.
Yeah, the pink haired kid. Remember that's Gabon and what's his name's kid?
Oh, you talking about Colin?
Yeah,
Yeah. I thought you was talking about somebody else. I'm sorry. Nah, Colin is Devon and Ripley's kid
yeah.
that we
But it's
see when Shanks
we just
pulls
learned
up.
it like 2 weeks ago. So like originally going through it, like it makes sense not to notice it. But yeah,
Yeah, but
that's the
it makes him be even more Colin be even more of a commendable at this point because it's like he is the one who's actually going out looking for adventure in the face of danger. So see the state of Beth when Luffy and them get there, but that's a conversation for today.
and it also makes sense like why Shanks is he's much more callous with Colin than he was with Luffy. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
it would make sense because he probably knows that Colin's dad is someone that he highly respects. Because he
Oh
says
yeah,
like, "Don't be so dumb. There's no way I'm bringing a hot-headed kid like you with me." But like with Luffy, he's just laughing at Luffy, and he's just like, "Luffy, chill out, dude. I can't bring you with me. You're too little." But like Colin, it makes sense now why he's so not Colin. I'm not doing that because it's basically his it's basically his cousin if you think about it. You know what I mean? Because
mm,
Roger is Shanks' adopted dad. That would make Gabon his uncle. So Colin is technically his little cousin. Like if you think about it that way. So it makes sense why he doesn't want to go like outside of the fact that he's a kid. But like the extra thing is he's just like, nah, little cuz, you can't come with me. Like, chill. And then we learn like the truth about his. I love that learning that about his crew or his fleet. That it's just a bunch of weaklings, just a bunch of weaklings that fly the flag because Shanks doesn't want them to get hurt because they happen to be like good people.
Hmm.
And Shanks is just
Just
like, I
trying
just
to
don't want
live his
people to get
part.
hurt. So like, you can fly my flag if you're cool, and we're good.
It's
That way, people
famously
leave you
weak.
alone. Yeah, yeah. They're like, that's a good way to put it. They're not just weak. They're famously like couldn't survive in the East Blue week.
The ultimate attack is that hey, we're part of Shanks' fleet.
Yeah, they just fly the flag, and then everyone leaves them alone. And then we get the divine departure. That shit was so live when he's just like, "I'ma use my ultimate attack on them." And Shanks sees like 5 minutes into the future because he sees the entirety of the destruction that's gonna happen from it. Like he sees
And a
like
little
what
bit of the
happens to
fallout.
Elbath itself, what happens to all the ships. He watches everyone drowned, all that stuff. Like he watches all that, and he's just like, "Oh shit." And we see like how much stronger he is than everyone else. Like he jumps from ship to ship to ship to ship, and the ships are like miles off coast too, which is the crazy part, you know. And then Ben Beckman realizes what's going on as soon as it happens, and he's just like, "Oh, boss must have seen an ill-fated future," and then tells him to turn the ship slightly so that he can jump off the edge to get a better shot
Hmm.
at the other. And you just see it like as soon as Ben says that, you're just like, yeah, there's no way Borsellino would win that fight against Ben Beckman. Like he's getting folded like a lawn chair. Like as soon as that happened, like I was already convinced, but I was just like, there's no way that any of the admirals can touch the top three of the crew. And then he does the what's it called? He does the divine departure to end it, and one shots almost the entirety of the uh the kid pirates just
With
immediately.
Kid with Kid and Killer getting it the worst.
Yeah, they're both half dead. And then Bragi and Dory. Also, you know what that implies? That the technically the first ever moment that we seen hockey is
Little Garden.
yeah, Little Garden is because we learned that that technique that they do, their dual attack, is a hockey attack. It just didn't have the extra like how it works, like how it's a shockwave is that they use hockey. Is what it shows off here. It's just he probably didn't want to introduce hockey that early, so they use it there, but he doesn't add the extra animation flair and stuff like that just because like he doesn't want to muddy the water with stuff. But that is I think the earliest cuz people say that Zoro is the first one that we've ever seen use hockey besides like the implied hockey of the monster. But the first time we've seen like actual like non-conquerors hockey, people say it's Zoro starting to understand a little bit of observation hockey. But no, it's just straight up we watched Dorian Bragi use advanced armament hockey on a fucking fish. Which is like something I totally forgot about that happened. I completely forgot about that. And then we see all the Vegapunks slowly die one by one, getting assassinated by York. Like straight up shot in the back of the head type shit. And then we get to the Sabo explaining what really happened. And it all stemmed from Cobra wanting to know what's up with what's its name? Why Lily went back instead Nefertari Lily went back to rule instead of
Staying with the 20.
staying with the 20. And then we learn that it's because she has a D initial. And I guess Emu expected that the entire time, but Emu wasn't 100% sure. Because for some reason, Emu is obsessed with Lily, and they haven't told us why yet.
One of the great mysteries.
We don't know if like was in love with them, or if it's what if it turns out is Emu is actually the little brother. I doubt it, but that'd be fucking crazy. But yeah, I still can't get over that divine departure. That shit was so alive.
Things
What is
definitely get it better.
what's it called? That's the name of what's the name of Goldie Rogers' signature? It's divine departure too, right?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
reinvented Rogers. Right.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know this. It's named after the Japanese word kamu, kamusari, which is what is called the death of a kami. So it's the death of a divine being. So that's why it's called divine departure, is because it's a move created to kill a god, or it's literally translates to god killing move. I didn't know that part. That's crazy. That's kind of cool. Or that's more than kind of cool. That's really dope. And then we get in my opinion, the hypest part of the episodes.
Garp!
Yeah, like tied for my second favorite character, Garp, coming in from the top row.
Who's the other one?
Fujitoro.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But Garp shows up and just beats almost the entirety of the Blackbeard Pirates, like almost by himself, to save Kobe. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like he one shot Sun Jun Wolf, which let's be real, it probably killed Sajin Wolf
San
or
Juan
San
Wolf.
Juan. San Juan, my bad. So it probably killed San Juan Wolf. I don't see a
Well,
world
knocked
where
his
it
ass
didn't.
all the way out there.
Yeah, he
They
knocked him
probably
into the
did.
ocean.
They probably didn't. They probably found some way to get him out.
Yeah,
He's a
but
fish man, I think.
he
No,
is.
he's not. He's a giant. No, he's a
Yeah,
giant. I'm tripping.
he ate the big fruit, so he should drown.
They'll find some way to get him out. I don't think he went down that fast. I don't think I would have won him out of the story.
Probably not yet, but he just shows up, galaxy impacts, destroys almost the entire island, and then he fights Aokiji. He beats the fuck out of Aokiji. He doesn't just fight Aokiji, he beats the fuck out of Aokiji because Aokiji's like bleeding from his skull and he's all tired and he's breathing hard, and Garp's still just laughing after he gets stabbed in the stomach. Though I will say a really nice touch that I like when Garp's sitting there laughing, uh, and there's a ice spike sticking out of his stomach. It's it's not. I don't think Aokiji did that to hurt him. I think Aokiji did it to stop the bleeding. Like from where Shiryu stabbed him. I think that's why that spike's there, is to cool the spot down enough to where it can't bleed anymore, because he doesn't want Garp to die, since Garp was his teacher, which is a really cool idea in my opinion, if that is the case.
That's what's
But
up, man. That's true actually. No, because in the manga panel did it better than anything. It caught the face that Aokiji was making over his
yeah, where
nose.
Aokiji's
That's a
sad.
frozen tear.
Yeah, yeah, he
That's a
freezes
frozen
the
tear over
tears.
his nose.
That's
Yeah.
why he freezes his face so no one can see him crying. But also
Yeah.
the anime did a really good moment of when it shows Kuzan's backstory, where it shows that Garp took him under his wing. It's actually probably my favorite moment of foreshadowing in the show or in the series. It's cause in the episode where we learned that Corazon back in Dressrosa that Corazon is a undercover Navy person that and basically Sengoku's adopted son. When we learn
Hmm.
that, there's a Garp right before the order gets through. Garp and Sengoku, we've learned over the years that they have a special thing that they do together whenever there's a new flavor of their favorite brand of rice crackers, and it's been going on for like 20 years. That they buy it and then they split it because they want to try the new flavor together. Like we see, like even in these episodes, there's a moment where when we find out Garp went off to save him, how we learn it is Sengoku says, "I got the newest flavor of rice cracker. I need Garp to try." When he's
Oh,
sitting there
Garp
with the
gone.
goat and Suru, and it's just like Garp's gone. He went to go rescue Kobe, and Sengoku's just like that dumb bitch. Sengoku's just like that motherfucker. But it's just like it's their thing. They eat crackers together because they're real good friends. And so we see when Sengoku is too busy talking to Corazon to eat the crackers, the person that he calls out for is no longer Sengoku. He says, "Hey Kuzan, you want to try some crackers?"
Yeah. His school's was just like Garp.
Yeah, because Kuzan is his protege, his previous protege, and so you even see in the backstory they talk about eating rice crackers because that's like Garp's favorite food, is that brand of rice crackers, and so we see like they have a very like almost father and son vibe with each other. Like when you see them, like how they're training and stuff, like they're super close. And then the it's just cool that that's the callback is to that episode. Like this random throwaway fucking line from 600 episodes ago or 530 episodes ago, something around there. It's just a random throwaway line that doesn't mean anything until you see it. Like that's my favorite versions of foreshadowing is when it's a throwaway line that means a whole fucking lot after you get the context. Like it's like one of those things that makes if you ever decide to do it a second time, you get to notice that stuff. You know what I mean? Like if you ever decide to experience for more than once, like those little moments of stuff that you would have never noticed.
I
I
feel
just
you.
really like
That
that
is
moment.
that's a great. Those are great moments because it takes you like it takes a different level of processing and stuff to come, and then those are what are moments I like to call turn the story on its head, where they give you that big old freaking right hook, and you ain't never see it coming, and then now you got to look at the whole story differently, and now everything's kind of different. Yeah, but yeah, combination of that and like combination of like that like really changes stories up is
And then
where I fall.
the other thing is we see because for the most part only two of them we see like Akiji meeting the Blackbeard people. The only one there's only two people that's not for sure at full power there because it's what's his name? Jesus doesn't have his devil fruit yet, and we don't know if Katatrina has her devil fruit yet. But Aokiji we see is stronger than everybody but Blackbeard on the crew, just like off rip, because Lafitte like makes like a super stupid decision, and like low key kind of threatens Aokiji, and Aokiji just instantly freezes like everybody but Blackbeard, and he's just like I'll fuck you all up right now, and Blackbeard's just
Yeah,
like my bad. Nah,
you
why
don't
don't you
want no
join
smoke,
us?
cuz.
But yeah, you see like and they just lends credence to the fact that Garp fights them all at the same time, and he's still beating the shit out of Akiji at 70. What is he like 73? It's crazy. And I love that Akiji's just like your number one protege versus your new favorite. Can you kill one to save the other? And then Garp, while he's stuck in the when he's stuck in the thing, he's like, "Can you stop me like that, you dumbass? I thought I taught you to live in the now." And then he just runs up, grabs him by the face, and just starts beating the fuck out of him. It's a dope fight.
Yeah, it's got a lot of nuance, a lot of poetry in it, and a lot of nuance when you sit there and break it down and really dive into it because the whole part about the proteges how they fought and how they went about their different methods of attacks and stuff too. All that stuff was taught by like all what Kuzan was doing was taught by Garp, and everything Garp was enhanced by Kuzan.
And then we learn like how good sword, or not sword, but cross guild has been about killing people. Like we get a little bit of like how good they're doing at like having Marines hunted, and we see the flashback I was talking about earlier of Shanks and Buggy. So I believe wholeheartedly he knew Straw Hat's hat is Shanks' old hat because he's seen it every day for like the entirety of his young life. And Shanks was like his adopted brother. So,
There's
and that
just
was
no
the
way
last
he'd be.
time they saw each other. So, I'm just saying. So, like, me and you, super good friends, basically brothers. I still remember the Miami Heat hat you used to wear almost every day, like 12 years ago. So, like, I still remember that hat. Like, I could point that hat out in a crowd, right? There's no way that somebody that's worn a hat even more than that is not recognized as somebody that's basically their brother. You know what I mean? Like, there's no
I'm
fucking
with you.
like, there's no way you wouldn't recognize it. And we see Buggy is actually a brilliant strategist. That's his entire thing. Like, he does a bunch of stupid shit, but we actually see, like, he put Cross Guild together and everything. Like, all the stuff that he does. Like, he basically turns his pirate crew into an entire religion that worships him. Like, so I refuse to believe that he didn't remember it. Then we get Sabo's explanation that it's really Emu that's a massive piece of shit that resulted in Lelucia getting fucked up.
Yep, Sabo, man.
And then the final scene of these episodes is Colby finally using advanced Conqueror's hockey. Or at least I'm assuming that it's advanced armament hockey and Code of Conquerors because it's the same colors Luffy is whenever he uses that. It's that like orangish yellow color instead of just black and red.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was.
So that's why I'm assuming it's for sure advanced armament. Like it's 100% at least advanced armament at the very least. But that shot's crazy. I still can't believe how bad Garp just beats the fuck out of all of them. Like it takes a dude that can turn invisible, an army, a guy that can control ice, a a man that's made out of island, a giant, like, and he beats all of them almost instantly except for the guy with ice powers. Like when he catches Kuzan under the chin, and Kuzan's like super hella fucked up after that. But and then we get the moment where he's crying. Kuzan's crying, and he freezes his tears so none of his crewmates can tell that he's crying. And Garp's just sitting there laughing his ass off because he did what he wanted to do. He saved the future of the Navy because he believes Kobe's going to be the next head of the Navy. Like he's the thing that's the future of the Navy. He wholeheartedly believes. And that's where it ends for now. The anime is going to pick back up in April, and then after 25 episodes come out, we'll do another one. Or not even 25,
Maybe
maybe
like
20.
15 or so.
I don't know. I'm
September
not sure
20th. It
yet.
don't matter.
But starting next week, we're gonna be doing the podcast is gonna be on Hunter x Hunter. So we're gonna spend a couple weeks doing Hunter x Hunter, cause Hunter x Hunter is only, I think you did the math earlier. What was it? 6 weeks?
Yeah.
Cause only 148 episodes. So, but yeah, thanks to everyone that stopped by. Thanks for commenting, subscribing, all that jazz. Uh, we appreciate y'all greatly. Can't say that enough. Uh, be sure to check out the Discord. And I, I feel like I'm forgetting something. Am I forgetting anything?
Yeah, that I know of. You already did the outro at this point.
Alright, cool. Well, I hope y'all have a good rest of y'all's or good week actually, because this is the start of it. So this corrupted
And it's dragon.
signing off. Y'all have a good one.
Yeah.